Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Halo Chamber. Today's the big day. Today is the day where we can finally dig our teeth into the playoff series. Hello, my name is Tudors, and alongside me, I've got none other than Cairo himself. Buddy, I hope you're doing swell because today is the day.
Today is the day, it's playoffs day 2 doors, and well, to start us off, we've got an absolute banger of a matchup. Yesterday, unfortunately, we didn't get to see all of the group stages, but finally we get to see how these teams will face off, and I guess the best of the best from that group stage.
Yeah, indeed. Unfortunately, we couldn't necessarily get all of the action right at our fingertips yesterday because sadly an update did drop mid-broadcast, but all of those issues have technically been resolved as far as we know. And with that being said, also the matches that were played yesterday, they were completely finalized. We have knocked out half of the participating teams that couldn't make it in those top 2 seeds within the group stages, and now we have brought it basically all down to the last 8 remaining teams. So let's go ahead and whip up our playoffs bracket so we know exactly what we're getting ourselves into.
Yep, 2 doors straight away. We are going to see on the left-hand side Quadrant versus Blackhand. That's the EU roster. If you aren't familiar with them, they both have an NA and an EU. If you're thinking, what the hell's happening here? Ascend versus a Lads. That's a good one. I imagine that'll be all, what do you call it, one to watch because, well, the Lads, they actually beat Ascend in the finals during the qualifiers, 2 doors. And then we have Vexed Gaming, which was originally Mocket before they got picked up yesterday. And then Method to Madness, that's who they're playing, Vexed. And then we go to our game, Navi versus Team Timmy, 2 doors, and well, that's going to be an absolute banger of a game on this B stream.
It surely is going to be a banger to basically start off the B stream this evening. Now, obviously, as far as you guys can see, every single one of the matches that we have in store for you guys is going to be a best of 5 series, meaning that things are going to get scrappy. They're likely going to go the full distance as well, and it's going to be severely action-packed here tonight. I'm not necessarily expecting a lot of 3-0s. That would be a very big disappointment because each and every single one of these teams, regardless as to whether or not you're at the very, very top of tier 1, or have narrowly been able to scrape together enough experience to technically allocate yourself within that scene. Everybody within these 8 teams, they have earned their spot here for the Halo Chamber playoffs bracket, and it is surely going to be a very competitive conclusion to this tournament.
Yes, it certainly will, 2 doors, and well, with that being said, I think we might have I think it's the rosters next up to see exactly. No, it's not, it's just our schedule for today. Yes, there we go, Navi playing Team Timmy, and then we are going straight into the semi-finals of quarter-final 3 and quarter-final 4, and we'll see exactly who gets their way onto that final today.
Yeah, naturally. And if you guys are actually curious as to where you can tune into the final itself, then make sure to go ahead and check out twitch.tv/Halo Chamber. That is where the grand final is going to be taking place. Here on the base stream, we've got a quarterfinal, and then we've also got a semifinal to look on through. And then obviously we do have twitch.tv/Halo Chamber Bravo if you guys just want to tune into the game clean feed itself without any caster audio whatsoever, and you can just take a look at raw gameplay. We also have that available for you guys. So we've got a little bit for everybody over here, but naturally we are going to be starting off with, as you said, the big boys, the big lads. We've got Navi versus Team Timmy, and this, technically for the 2 of us, it is more or less the highlight of our tournament run thus far. We have just been aching to cast Navi for the first time. It's going to be so exciting, man. I can't wait for it.
It's not that, 2 doors, it's like when you get to cast one of the giants of esports, not just a particular game of esports, you just get so excited. And then also we have Team Timmy, which could easily upset the big boys here. That's just something that we love to see, and already there's that kind of underdog story starting to form. And well, can they upset the giants? Can it be a David and Goliath story? I'm hoping this is what's going to be the case.
It definitely could be the case. At the end of the day, before we actually hop into the team rosters themselves, we're going to be getting that graphic up on your screen momentarily so we can go ahead, meet and greet the players on both of these 2 sides. But either way, Team Timmy, from what we've been able to gather, not necessarily one of the teams that, at the very least, as a core roster, has been with us within the Halo competitive scene for fairly long. At the end of the day, there are a couple of highlight names, and like I said, we will go through those rosters when we get there a little bit later on. But at the very least, we have plenty to talk about when it comes to Na'Vi in general. You know, they have been technically participating ever since the technical test first launched way back in November as well. They have got multiple tournament title wins under their belt as well, but also they've been robbed of a couple of them by Ascend.
Yeah, I mean, that's it, Toodles. It's just kind of... It's one of those ones where you look at Ascend and you see how much they've accomplished in the scene, and it's you kind of always, there's always someone that's got to be the bridesmaid. They've always got to be a loser, unfortunately, in a final. And Na'Vi have just had that really sad sob story. And well, maybe this tournament they're going to upset Ascend, and that this is going to be the tournament that they're going to walk home with that big dub.
Yeah. Hopefully so. I would very much like to actually get the bracket up on your screen again, because there... Oh, never mind. We're actually gonna... We can show that bracket a little bit later on, but at the very least, we now can go ahead and take a look at all of the players that are going to be participating within our opening best of 5 series. Starting off with Na'Vi, we've naturally got Jimbo, we've got Kimbo, we've then got Respectful, and then Tafoxy, with namely the man behind the scenes, Wonderboy, leading these boys to victory from behind the scenes. That is the core of Na'Vi right over here. They are surely looking to make their way to that semifinal spot as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, they'll be decked out in that yellow and black armor set as well, Toodles. I can't wait to see that as well in the server on the boys. But with that being said, we do have their opponents. Team Timmy coming up. Hollows, Sticker, Sherzy 2, and Lumiza.
Yeah, and obviously, at the very least, like I said, this particular roster, from what we've been able to gather, is relatively new at the very least. Maybe just a core roster of friends that wanted to go ahead and roll the dice with Halo Chamber. But there are still plenty of names that are, you know, very recognizable. Specifically, Sherzy 2 as well. And from at the very least, like from what I've been able to gather just by putting 2 and 2 together, I might be wrong, and I hope somebody in Twitch chat can correct me if I'm wrong. But Sherzy 2 should technically be the brother to HCS EU caster Sherzy 1 as well, and that's also a pretty cool thing. That's just a really cool connection, and we finally get to also see Sherzy 2 in action with our own 2 retinas for the first time. So that's also 1-star player that we are very keen to see in action.
Yeah, that's it, Toodles. And well, with that being said, we need to find out exactly where our battleground is going to be between these two teams. I imagine we'll get that map ban phase up for you so we can see exactly where we are going for these quarterfinals. And yes, here we are. We are going to get Stronghold on Streets, Slayer on Recharge, and our all favourite Oddball on Live Fire. And if we start to go the distance, if it goes longer than a 3-0, we've got CTF on Aquarius and Slayer on Bizarre to finish things off.
Yeah, it's a little bit hilarious, but we are technically going to be starting off with this particular map video with the exact same 3 maps that we saw during yesterday's group stage matches. Yesterday, when we took a look at, I believe it was Black Hand EU that went up against Inception. Well, we did technically see 2 of those 3 maps at the time. Yesterday, during that first best of 3, we did see Strongholds on Street, we did see Slayer on Recharge, and then it was kind of just cut off there because, well, it was a very quick and easy 2-0 for Black Hand EU. But at the very least, we are guaranteed to see Oddball on Live Fire, so that is something that I'm super duper excited as well. And then we're finally sprinkling in a little bit of CTF action as well, even though it's a little bit later in the video. That is also going to be something that I couldn't be more excited to see. Despite the fact that I hate Aquarius, CTF brings out the good bits in the map.
Yeah, without a doubt. And kudos on top of that. I mean, CTF is just a really fun game mode. I think it always ends up being close because it's all about trying to move forward into the opponent's side of the map and trying to contest that. But with all that being said, we'll focus on map number 1, which is going to be Streets and Strongholds 2 doors. When we look at that kind of domination style game mode, it's always exciting to watch. I mean, when we got to cast our first map yesterday, the only map that we got to cast, we saw Streets and we saw Stronghold, and it was so close all the way up, and then until the kind of like last kind of 50 to 100 points, that's when we started to see a real winner on that map.
Yeah, indeed. It was Black Hand at the at that time during yesterday's matchup that just at the very least was able to establish a lot more control of the overall power weapons, and at the very least, like throughout the vast majority of that round, they very narrowly at the very least they were consistently maintaining control of 2 of those cap points, and then on occasion would also get themselves a triple cap, and it just became very difficult for Inception to kind of weasel their way back into the matchup as soon as both of those 2 squads surpassed the halfway mark. mark. I feel like with this opening matchup of Na'Vi versus Team Timmy, it's going to be a little bit less one-sided. I do at the very least feel that it is going to be much more competitive as opposed to just, for example, both teams reaching half point and then one team just, you know, rolling over the other in the same fashion that we saw yesterday.
I mean, we should expect that though, Toodles, because we're in the playoffs. This is now where it all matters. This is now the kind of big boys battling out. Sometimes a few teams slip through the cracks depending on groups, but I don't think that'll be the case in Halo Chamber. The way that both teams that we're casting right now have the quality that we've seen in their rosters.
Yeah, I am at the very least just a teensy-weensy little bit disappointed that we didn't get to see the BU Barracudas make it through to the playoff stages, because, you know, that's one roster that at the very least, like the two of us, we simply fell in love with when we casted them during the NSC finals, and we sadly didn't get to see them in action at the very least yesterday. Due to the issues behind the scenes. But naturally, if they would have made it into the playoff bracket, I would have loved nothing more than to see exactly how they could stack up against the higher tier teams as well. So it's a bit sad that we have to wave goodbye to them. But aside from that, I do have a very interesting topic of conversation that I do want to bring up. So I would like production to please bring up the bracket right over here, because there is something that we can nitpick from the bracket itself that could paint a very, very great storyline for us here. Take a look as to where Na'Vi and Ascend are located on the bracket respectively. They are on opposite ends, meaning that they can technically meet up in the grand finals, and Na'Vi could cause the upset, or Ascend could potentially beat out Na'Vi for, I think it would be the 4th grand final thus far throughout these two teams' longevities.
It's almost like, I know it's a different esport, but I'm gonna kind of draw the same storyline. But it's almost like Na'Vi and G2 when they keep meeting in the CS:GO finals, Toodles. When we keep seeing them Na'Vi beating. So maybe it's a little bit of a taste for their own medicine. Na'Vi feeling exactly how it feels. But with that being said, though, I think that would be awesome to see Ascend Na'Vi make it all the way to that grand final and see exactly who has what it takes to win it out. And I'm gonna say, I really hope Na'Vi get their final revenge on this Halo Chamber.
It would be a really, really great storyline for Na'Vi as well, to finally beat out Ascend, one of the teams that has been so dominant within, obviously within the European scene. And not only that, it's, if you can, for example, as if any one of these teams can technically chalk Ascend's mental before we move into the EU Super Qualifier for the Kansas City Major, then you know, it also bolsters a lot of other European teams' chances to make it to Kansas City eventually. There are still, for those of you guys that do not know, Kansas City is the next major tournament that we have. Basically a LAN event within the Halo Infinite scene as well. And the last couple of teams that need to qualify are specifically from the EU region, and that qualifier tournament is happening not too at the very least not too late. It's going to be taking place a few days after we've concluded Halo Chamber as well. So you got the opportunity to get some bragging rights over here. You got the opportunity to warm up for one of the biggest LAN qualifiers that we have seen within the scene to date as well.
I think as well, Toodles, if I'm not mistaken, I think Na'Vi are also boot camping either now or soon. So if they're boot camping right now, they'll all be hyped up. I mean, they'll all have their strategies down, and maybe this is their chance to actually make it all the way to that final and beat Ascend. But at the same time, though, I mean, we don't have that information on the other teams. They could easily be going and doing the exact same thing, especially with those EU qualifiers in mind.
Yeah, definitely so. That could also very much be the case. On the subject of Ascend versus the lads, though, I'm quickly sort of just scrolling through a little bit of information that I could scrounge together over on Liquipedia, and this is technically going to be sort of like a rematch for Ascend and the lads from the 2022 Pro Series #2 that took place, like one of the first ever tournaments that we saw at the very, very start of this year. And the lads are also looking for a little bit of revenge because of the fact that they lost 3-1 versus Ascend. And I'm also looking through to see, for example, like how many. I'm just trying to piece together exactly how strong of a roster Ascend is, because they've got numerous pole position finishes. I'm just trying to look exactly which teams they pissed off and which teams are looking for revenge. There's quite the list, though. That much I can say.
Yeah, I can imagine that too. Those, I imagine there'll be plenty of teams vying for those blood. When you are so successful, every team wants to beat you. Let's be honest. If you're a team who wants to win, you want to beat Ascend, and that's the way it's kind of got to be. Imagine that Lads versus Ascend game will be the one that everybody will be looking at with bated breath, and the whole community, not just in this tournament.
And the exact same thing can also be said for Quadrant as well. Like, for a lot of people that aren't familiar with the scene, they are all technically also, like, I feel comfortable in saying that they would technically be within, like, the top 8 teams regionally from the European scene as well. I mean, it's not, they haven't necessarily had the most of success within official HCS tournaments. They did, unfortunately, finish multiple times being second behind Ascend as well. I think it was during the 10th Open Series, the 7th and the 4th, so they're kind of in the same boat as Navi as well, having lost out at the hands of Ascend multiple times. But on top of that, Quadrant have bragging rights in another perspective by being the EGL champions for multiple weekly tournaments as well, beating out teams like the Lads, Mocket, or technically former Mocket, now known as Vexed Gaming. Like, it is a little bit it's a little bit ridiculous when you start to take all of the pieces of the puzzle and start to put them together as to just how closely knit the community is and the teams technically are with each other within the scene.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be super excited to see how these teams interact, and only to see how Vexed Gaming under their new banner will perform here too. Those maybe I feel a little bit of pressure, you know, under a new banner, under a new organisation representing on the scene, and I wonder if that's what's going to happen. I wonder if they'll maybe feel that pressure going up against Method to Madness.
Yeah, it definitely could be the case. Method to Madness is one of the only teams that I personally don't know a whole lot about. But Vexed Gaming, at the very least at the time when they were still playing as Mocket, they also did put up a lot of really, really great results within EGL. Once again, not so much within the HCS brackets as well, in those particular Faceit brackets, but at the very least, like, that roster from Vexed Gaming, they have technically been playing together from what I've been able to gather since, like, way back in the heyday. We're talking about, like, the days of Halo 5 and MCC as well. We're going a few years back naturally, but Vex Gaming, they do have plenty of experience under their belts. Hopefully for their sake, they're able to actually translate that into results as well during this tournament.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, see, the thing is though, too, those, I think when we get into the kind of playoff stage, we can start to see teams like start to slip up. All it takes is, say for instance, you go into your map pick and you slip up, and then the rest of the maps kind of are back and forth like a rally. I mean, there's only going to be one team. We can't see any slip ups. There is no second chances in this playoffs bracket, which I absolutely love from a competitive format stance. I think if you lose, you should be out. Sometimes you do get those storylines and it does make it a bit better when there's double elim, but I think like it kind of puts it all in the line, creates a bit of pressure on these teams, and I hope that they can perform in that kind of under that pressure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the very least, how many teams can you name off the top of your head throughout multiple different esports titles that really can perform under pressure? I mean, at the very least, the two of us coming from the Rainbow Six scene, good old classic Penta before they were bought by G2's organization versus Evil Geniuses, one of the best comebacks that has technically just left an imprint within the esports scene as a whole. So the possibility for teams to perform and cause upsets in a single elimination bracket, that potential through the roof.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But with that being said, Toodles, while we do get ready, we are going to go to a quick break. Just going to get that lobby set up, get in towards those maps, and we'll be heading straight into that. So don't go far. We'll be ready and getting ready to go in about 2 minutes.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back and thank you so much for your patience. We've got all of the 8 players and all of our observers and production members within the server as well, so it's not going to be too long before we can finally delve into the first map that is Streets. Strongholds on Streets, Na'Vi versus Team Timmy. The start of the Halo Chamber playoffs. I couldn't be more stoked to get into it.
Yep, here we are, 2 doors, a little bit of stronghold, a little bit of the domination style. If you don't know how it works, we go have 3 points where teams have to have a majority to be earning those points in 2 doors. Sometimes that gets a bit spicy. Trying to contest in towards Beyond Streets can be so hard sometimes. I mean...
Yep.
We've seen how many team fights, how many bloodbaths happen in that one area. I'm sure we'll see some team wipes to come through.
Plenty, I hope, at the very least. One interesting thing that the two of us haven't really seen at the very least when casting Streets and when casting Strongholds is we haven't seen too many multi-kills with the Spanker.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit hilarious that we haven't seen that because it's something that just technically always goes hand in hand, especially when you're playing Strongholds when there might be multiple people, for example, trying to convert a point. You'd expect that Spanker to maybe rack up a double kill here and there. That might be the case here. We'll have to see exactly how Na'Vi are able to utilize the M41, or on the opposing side of the spectrum, maybe Team Timmy can use it a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly. And well, I mean, this is it, 2 doors. This is where it all matters. Control of that Spanker is going to be absolutely huge because you can clear out a single point with 1 Spanker shot. And I mean, to be honest, think about that. Think about how that could easily cause some damage, especially in that point scoring, because then you have to wait on respawns. You have to wait on resetting the team together because you don't want to start taking gunfights in a 3 versus 4. But well, anyway, here we go. Straight into it, and already map control taken in towards B for Na'Vi.
Yeah, and Bulldog has already been secured as well as Foxy is able to get the opening frag. And now he's going to be taking a very precarious combination of weapons. Bulldog and Spanker to boot. It's going to be very interesting to see exactly how he can pull that one off. But he's traded off the M41 over towards Respectful. B is now starting to be capped as well on the side of Na'Vi. And they're looking to stave off all of this contention over towards the ramp side.
Already though, 2 doors, look at the map control that Navi's gained. You can clearly see the prowess. Well, a few players are dropping. It's mostly been Team Timmy that have been taking those sort of mortalities on their side. Already the Spanker going off, raining off its terror, not being able to get a kill, but finally finished off just there.
Okay, Sentinel Beam unfortunately won't see any action. That is Respectful being shut on down to Foxy. In a bit of a sticky situation with the Pulse Carbine as well, but he's able to keep his life in tow for a little bit longer. Team Timmy already making moves over towards B as well, looking to get that advantage and start getting those points racked up. We do see a C conversion come on through, but for now, Team Timmy looking to build up a substantial lead as they have technically both teams wiped out. Now the respawns come on through, but that was a bit of an awkward situation for both squads.
Couldn't be extremely awkward. B though falling into the hands of Na'Vi. Look at these BRs rattling off though, 2 doors. Nobody getting caught out just yet, but as I say that, Hollers is going to be dropped on the side of Team Timmy, trying to get an assault on towards B, but why would you even bother? It's gonna be shut down just like that.
Oh, goodness gracious. Na'Vi are starting to really show exactly what they're worth. A melee kill comes on through. That kind of looked like it was a little bit of a backstab as well. Haulers will finally be traded on through. And that was him after picking up a triple kill right over there, cleaning up a lot of players that were one-shot. But either way, Kimbo right here once again ensures that Na'Vi maintain control of that M41. Multi-kill doesn't exactly come on through. And the double nearly just jumps through that window right there. But either way, Na'Vi are looking to shut down Team Timmy at every single facet right here on Streets.
It's not only that though, look at the aggression that's coming through from Na'Vi. They are not scared to try and take on Team Timmy. What a shot into Jersey 2 there by Foxy. That's absolutely gorgeous. And well, look at this, 2 doors. Na'Vi just shutting things down, making sure to put these players on the back foot of Team Timmy.
Yeah, they've already expended their lead. The gap now sits at about 40 points, and a triple cap may start to come on through, but Team Timmy seem to be in near full control of C. But as I say that, the aggressor will be shut down. Team Timmy really struggling to get a foothold as Na'Vi have total domination on their side. They are getting ever so close to hitting 100 points. Na'Vi
making Team Timmy look like a bunch of Timmys. Look at this, kills following right through. It's beautiful stuff, and the way that they are just taking on the gunfight. The C cap does come through for for Team Timmy. They have somewhat some control, but that's going to get shut down already. Look at Foxy getting aggressive here, trying to get those kills. Unlucky though. It seems as if 2 players are going to get traded out from both teams.
Yeah, Na'Vi are super duper quick to respond with almost every single move that Team Timmy have made thus far. And unfortunately, that is a disconnect coming on through on the side of Na'Vi. It does seem as if Kimbo has sadly exited the server. But either way, the action doesn't stop right over here. It's a 3v4 scenario, but I do believe we are getting confirmation that a lobby reset will come on through as Team Timmy do secure a second cap right over here, aiming for a triple as well. Na'Vi kind of down in the dumps right here now that they've lost a player, but we'll get that lobby back up and ready so we can continue where we left off.
Yeah, exactly. Straight into it, and already we're seeing signs of Navi's prowess and Streets, the way that they're controlling the map, controlling the Spanker, controlling the Bulldog, just being able to shut down every facet of this map. It's really interesting to watch, and we're seeing the aggression coming through. They are not scared to go and take fights.
No, they really, really aren't. And on top of that, just the overall team chemistry that they have with a lot of the experience. And I'm not necessarily saying that they can really bounce off each other, but they really know how to manage their resources very, very well. They won't necessarily shy away from biting right into the action. They would much rather, for example, as we saw when they were swapping out the M41 with the Bulldog as well, so that everyone had BRs. They can really know exactly when to hit the brakes, take a breather, just ensure that everybody's arsenal is ready to go before they jump back into the action. And it really does, at the very least, like, speak to the overall confidence that these guys have, that they won't shy away from just hitting the pedals, hitting the brakes to just lower the pace a little bit.
And it's like watching an F1 driver when you're talking about brakes and pedals. They know exactly when to hit that brake. I mean, cut the corner, going exactly for those kills, and that's exactly it. We are going to head straight back in here, going to get that fly through. We saw exactly where all that action was happening, and 2 doors, there it is, the big magnificent weapon that it is.
Exactly. Na'Vi, they were doing, not necessarily doing, but they were establishing a lot of control with that Spanker, and they were able to catch it on 2 separate spawns as well. Team Timmy really didn't see any power weapon action whatsoever, not even upgraded weapons. I mean, Na'Vi, they were using every single tool at their disposal, from the Pulse Carbine to the Spanker to the Stalker to basically everything that you can find on this map in particular. But either way, full lobby reset has come on through. Not exactly sure if we have an aggregate point count to work with, but we're going to be starting things fresh over here. A good opportunity for Team Timmy to really prove their worth right here in this first map.
Yeah, maybe potentially this is them. They already know how Na'Vi were kind of beginning their assault, and the Spanker already picked up, does some work, and the first 2 points did go in favour of Team Timmy, but Na'Vi already resetting that, taking A, taking C, and starting to get those points through. Oh, I think we've got a disconnect as well.
Yeah, we got a slight little disconnect there, this time on the side of Team Timmy, so sadly we will have to go ahead and reset the lobby as well. Fortunately, we don't have much more that we can actually chow down from that, from those 15 seconds of action, but Team Timmy, they got control of the Spanker, even you know, before they lost the player, so that's a good sign of improvement, I guess.
Yeah, and they also got they got B before Na'Vi were able to get 2 points. So the fact that they were starting to score first, but I don't think it lasted long, because already the reset came through and the spawns had flipped. So I mean, all in all, I mean, they made a good first step forward, but it just ended up being 2 steps back, unfortunately. Yeah,
that is the sad truth for the time being. But it is good to see that Team Timmy at the very least can get those strats down when they move into a particular map with a fresh face and a clear mind as well. So hopefully this time when we reset the lobby as well and get all 8 players back into the server, things will be all hunky-dory. Things will be flying and sailing relatively smooth, so we can actually see Streets and Strongholds to its full completion as well. Still very, very excited, but if we're still going to judge it from that first round of play before that first disconnect, I'm still technically going to be leaning over towards the side of Na'Vi for being able to take this first map under their belt.
Yeah, I do so as well, too. Those the way that they were kind of, again, we could start to talk about it again, but the way that they were playing that map was just kind of spectacular to watch. It was just a continuous dynamic motion, the way they were continuous catching points. But whether that, again, maybe a Team Timmy can somehow read into that, I don't know if they really can. Sometimes it's really hard to read teams' movements and stuff like that, but we need to see gunfights being won.
Yeah, exactly. We do need to see a few more gunfights being won out as well. Not to necessarily say that Team Timmy don't actually possess that slaying potential, because they certainly do. They are able to frag out, especially when they're going for a lot of team shots. It's just that you have to be able to technically land that mark a little bit better than the side of Na'Vi if you really want to overtake them as well. And on top of that, like, one of the main struggles that I personally saw on the side of Team Timmy is well, it's not necessarily something that they are struggling with. It's just technically Na'Vi making the lives of Team Timmy a living hell, because they were very, very quick to respond on a lot of attempted captures for a lot of those points as well. We did see a couple of attempted conversions on the side of Team Timmy before Na'Vi just came swooping on in and shutting all that progress down. So that is something that they are at the very least going to try to hammer down and really put a leash on Na'Vi if they want to make any kind of moves towards taking this first map eventually.
The thing is, though, Tudos, can you put a leash on Na'Vi? Is it possible? I mean, the way that they were playing, it looked as if they couldn't be stopped. It was like what's the kind of runaway train almost? I think that's. Can you put the brakes on or something like that?
I don't know. I to a certain extent, I guess you could. At the very least, like MIBR, they were able to do it versus Na'Vi during the Blast group stages for Counter-Strike as well. So I know that doesn't count for much, but still, they are at the end of the day a team that has flaws as well as any other team. But versus the likes of Team Timmy, it's still a very, very tough question to answer. It might not necessarily happen in this particular map. It might just have to do with the fact that Team Timmy might be more comfortable in a Slayer environment, the game mode specifically, where then they might be able to actually, you know, at the very least overtake Na'Vi in just overall pace.
I think, do we not have Slayer on Recharge next?
Yeah, that is map number 2, and then also, should we get to that 5th map of Bazaar, we also have Slayer.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, somehow the maps don't really fall in favour for Team Timmy in that front, though. A lot of objective-based stuff, and if we're expecting that to happen, then I'm thinking Na'Vi will probably win it out to be honest, Tudos. I just can't see a scenario in which that doesn't happen unless Team Timmy come out the kind of what do you call it? Oh my god. Na'Vi come out Team Timmy come out racing and ready to go straight away out the traps. So we'll need to see exactly what happens in that front.
Yeah, exactly. Keep in mind, it is still very, very early days within this best of 5 series, and we could potentially see all 5 maps. This could very much also go the full distance, just depending on how this first map goes. Obviously, both teams, during the 2 respective resets, lobby resets, they got off to completely different starts, with Team Timmy really actually finally coming alive during that second lobby reset. So, at the very least, I don't want to count them out just yet, and I do believe we are getting confirmation from admin and league ops that we might be technically restarting things with a point aggregate, meaning that Na'Vi would have technically a gap of about 100 points as a buffer space, meaning that we are still waiting confirmation, but theoretically speaking, if they do hit 130 before the side of Team Timmy are able to hit 230, then they would technically take that first map. We are still waiting for confirmation as to whether or not we will have aggregate, but we will have that info for you guys super duper shortly.
Just as you said, that is super duper shortly. We have just got confirmation through to those as you were finishing up there. So, yep, there we go. Our admins have confirmed that it will be a 130 gap for Na'Vi. And with that being said, it will be an interesting one to see exactly how quickly it will take Na'Vi to get to that points. Obviously, there was a 20 score for Team Timmy, so they'll have only 230 points, which is still a massive gap to go.
It very much is a very massive gap to actually, you know, narrow down, and it does technically make the job a little bit easier for Na'Vi as well, just because of the fact that they were able to build up that lead super duper quickly, and that lead isn't going to be thrown away. No, it's going to be carried right over into this next lobby reset, and we are getting confirmation that it should only be a few hot seconds before we can finally resume the action for strongholds on streets as well. Obviously, tons of speculation, tons of hypotheticals already spoken about. Now we are finally going to be able to get back to reality and see whether or not Team Timmy are going to be able to put up quite the fight that they advertise.
Yep, look at this mid-control already, trying to be established here. The amount of artillery that's coming through there through nades. Seems like Team Timmy have hemorrhaged 2 players already, and there's plenty of fragging happening right now. But it seems as if Na'Vi are the ones to come out on top after a team wipe there, Tudos.
Yeah, they also have control of the Bulldog and the Spanker from what I was able to gather in the kill feed as well. So Team Timmy, not exactly the most miraculous start, unfortunately enough for them. And either way, they do need conversion of some points B, yet to actually be contested until this very moment. Hollers finds himself trying to secure the cap, but he's actually been fallen off, and that entire effort has just been shut down by Na'Vi.
Again, Two Doors continuously trying to be active here, and already B caps coming through. They're nearly a triple cap, and look at Na'Vi. They're already beginning to descend on C. A little bit of damage from the back there, and look at them react, although they're going to lose a player to that. And Na'Vi are only down to 1.
Yeah, Jimbo has to wait for the rest of his comrades to finally stop, well, basically staring at that respawn screen. And Timmy, they did have about 5 to 7 seconds to ensure that they can try to get some conversions on through. C is finally being capped as well, and at the very least, Na'Vi have been able to build up a 40-point lead in this instance. So that technically means that they are up to about 160, meaning if they hit, technically, as we said, 130 points, then it's all done and dusted.
And we're getting ever closer to that point now. Two Doors, a triple cap almost coming through again. Yes, here we are in Na'Vi, still contested in towards C. Will keep that triple cap going, continuously racking up 2 points every second right now. We're getting ever closer to that 130 mark.
Yeah, we very much are, and not a whole lot more to go. Probably just about 50 points left to secure on the side of Na'Vi right here. Timmy very much struggling as Jimbo is able to clean up the mess that Timmy has left for them. A full team wipe narrowly coming on through as well. And Timmy are very much struggling in their 1v1 engagements right over here. Na'Vi are firmly in the driver's seat as they hit 120. Timmy need conversions to come on through ASAP. If not, it's all but over right here.
Yep, it is all but over, but I think they're somehow still continuing. I think maybe the team still think it's up to that 250 mark, but I'm not too sure exactly what's happening. And with that being said, they're still going through with a frag.
Yeah, at this certain stage, why won't Na'Vi try to at the very least get a flawless dub on Strongholds? They're almost able to actually hit 200 points. Why not see the entire matter through? I mean, why the hell not? Either way, the Na'Vi is still firmly in control as they're once again able to gain that triple cap all to themselves once again. Very close on edging their way towards 200 points. Team Timmy down in the dumps, sadly enough.
They really are. A's trying to get capped right now, but look at Na'Vi already contesting, and they are using that long angle, but nobody getting picked up just there. Trying to see if we can maybe get one. Na'Vi trying to hold down B right now. There's players coming in from mid, players coming in from spawn, and like that, they'll shut one player down. It's all up to Kimbo though now, and he's doing some work.
Yeah, he very much is able to keep his life intact for a little bit longer as Team Timmy are able to actually stave off Na'Vi's point score for the time being. 2 caps under their belt as Na'Vi are looking to convert one of them, but signs of life are starting to appear very late into this series on the side of Team Timmy, but you know the good old saying, better late than never. They're racking up a couple of points, but I feel as if the rug may soon be stripped right from underneath them.
Yes, I can imagine the beast that is Na'Vi is getting angry, and the red mist may descend, but, well, they're the only players descending right now. The only reds on the map falling to the floor are Na'Vi's bodies as we continuously see the work coming through here by Team Timmy, holding down these points.
Man, that was actually such an impactful frag coming out onto Kimbo as well, because he narrowly got away with that spanker, and Hollers was able to shut him down before he actually turned the corner. And I'm pretty sure that Team Timmy were able to gain control of that rocket launcher right over here and use it all to themselves. But Na'Vi, I think they've had about enough of being kicked around. They want to do the kicking themselves this time. They've got 2 caps under their belt, but the points will be halted just for a little bit longer. Sticko looking for his next victim with the M41 as he's looking to secure a cap onto C as well.
Potentially a triple cap to come through from Team Timmy would be huge right now, the way that they're playing. And Na'Vi just seem to get a foothold and then slip constantly. A might be that foothold right now though, as they try to finish out that map. B being contested as well, but can Na'Vi finish it out? Can they get that kill? Bulldog though will take down Kimbo, but quickly traded out.
Yeah, and Na'Vi are quick to, at the very least, once again, redirect all of their attention towards that B side. A trade coming on through once again is still going to create enough space for Respectful to safely secure a B cap right over here. Shurzy, too, looking to ramp up a little bit of aggression over towards that balcony, but no victims to be found just yet for him. Elsewhere on the map, Team Timmy are very sure to actually get control of A, and that they do before the progress was halted right here. Team Timmy holding on to 2 points. Could definitely mount a comeback, but I'm not exactly sure if I should start holding my breath out for it.
I'm not too sure, Two Doors, either, but at the same time, anything can happen. Those points keep racking up for Team Timmy, and that's the only thing that they're worried about. But, well, maybe they should be worried about those gunfights that they're starting to take. A little trade coming through. There's only one player left on Team Timmy, and here he is. Well, going on towards B, trying to shut this down. Frag grenades to go out, but look at this. The Spiker finishes out. No, sorry, it was the BR, actually. Never mind.
Yep.
Well, the thing is, though, the B is just going to get turned over. Na'Vi now have a triple cap.
Yeah, this should be the nail in the coffin for Team Timmy. 245, as we are seeing a little bit of contention coming on through, but it's all but over for Team Timmy. A valiant effort. They weren't necessarily able to get the dub. They were at the very least able to deny a flawless performance and a flawless scoreline on the side of Na'Vi, but that just goes to show how good these boys are within the server. Na'Vi taking map 1 with ease after a few resets, and that, well, it starts to paint a couple of question marks as to how easy this is going to be the rest of the series, how effortless this could potentially be for Na'Vi.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big point. Two Doors, and then also on top of that, Na'Vi, they just looked as if they were ready to gun, ready to take those frags, and because they were winning so many gunfights, I'm thinking in my head though, Two Doors, how is Slayer going to go? How is Recharge going to go? I mean, we're thinking to how the precision can be on some of the weapons that are on the map, some of the power weapons. We've got the energy sword. I think we do have the, is it the shock rifle as well on that map, which can really rip teams apart.
It can really rip teams apart, and it can be a tool of destruction in the right hands. The one thing that I will say, you know, despite the fact that Street Strongholds, it did finish off in the favor of Na'Vi, I do really want to point out the fact that both teams, they were very much capable of actually trading out team wipes. It's not necessarily as if we saw Team Timmy on the back foot in the sling department throughout that entire series. Sure, Na'Vi were able to secure a couple more wipes compared to the side of Team Timmy, but Team Timmy very much struggled to actually play the OBJ that much better than Na'Vi. That was the main struggle point. So heading into Recharge Slayer, I still think that Team Timmy, if they can bring over that exact same slaying capacity and potential and maybe amplify just a little bit more, then they can tie up the map count.
Well, we'll need to see if they can tie up that map count in Two Doors. There's so many corridors, so many long angles as well on Recharge. It's quite a kind of mixed map when you see the kind of gunfights that do come out. And I'm going to ask you the question, who do you think is going to take map 2?
That is going to be a tricky question to answer at the very least. Obviously, whoever I don't necessarily want to say that whoever gets control of that energy sword is immediately going to win, because the energy sword hasn't exactly always been the silver bullet that leads a team to victory. I would usually say it is using the upgraded weapons a little bit better. That shock rifle, that the mangler as well. Whoever can utilize those weapons better, for example, either in the service tunnel or throughout a lot of the open sides, is gonna tend to actually be the winner. And I do kind of at the very least, I'm sort of leaning over towards the side of Na'Vi, just because we saw them put a little bit more emphasis on weapons that aren't exactly called the battle rifle as well. They were able to utilize a lot of great pieces of weaponry, including the Bulldog, over on streets, and you know, it really depends, but I'm still leaning over towards the side of Na'Vi. I think Team Timmy are more than capable of putting up a fight, but it just feels like it's got almost Na'Vi written all over.
I think so as well. Well, we're going to head in towards Recharge. Remember, there is those armor abilities that do lie on the maps as well, Two Doors. And, well, we'll need to be interested to see exactly what is on the map. I think it was active camo when we were casting here last time.
We've got an active camo present. We have got, I believe, a repulsor present as well over towards the pond. And then on top of that, we also have a grapple hook that is over towards Tetris. So plenty of tools for both of these two squads to utilize.
Well, already the first armor ability going towards Na'Vi, and it is going to be that active camo, and it's on the side of 2 Foxy. We need to see what he can do with that. And imagine with that shock rifle in pocket, he could catch a player or two off guard, getting one of those headshots, and maybe that's the first victim here, right there. There we go, a little slap in the face to pick up that kill.
It wasn't necessarily the cleanest kill coming on through with the shock rifle, but it is a kill nevertheless. Either way, there it is. That's the satisfying stuff you'll love to see coming out from Foxy. Shurzy too didn't even expect it as the Foxy picks up a double. I believe that's also him securing a killing spree. 5 frags to his name, yet to be shut down. He is really making a statement right here on Recharge.
Really is 2 doors, 4 kill advantage right now for Na'Vi, and we'll need to see if this can continue. Well, it certainly seems. Perfect kills coming out left, right and centre here, and now trying to use the grapple to escape, and like this, look at this, Team Timmy just can't get reset at all.
No, Na'Vi are technically just pulling away with the lead with each kill that is coming on through. The gap has already been extended all the way up to 7. Team Timmy, not exactly all too close to hitting double digits just yet, but it is going to get a little bit worse. At the very least, the trade will be secured. But Team Timmy have come so close to having their entire roster wiped multiple times thus far. They can hardly strike a dent on the side of Na'Vi.
No, they certainly cannot. 2 doors. Kill assist coming through there because of all those bullets that were rattling off into the distance and towards Team Timmy. 2 Foxy trying to get aggressive into this spawn here, trying to get all ready, and look at this. It's almost like an ambush setup the way those players are sticking up towards the rafters. Can they get a kill? No, they can. Actually traded out and taken out Kimbo there. Team Timmy starting to answer back a little bit.
Oh, respectful, looking to shut down Lumizer, but I think Lumizer might have... Nah, I'm not exactly sure if he was holding on to the active camo, but that seems to have been picked up yet again by Jimbo this time around. He's already exhausted all charges within that shock rifle as well, and he's looking to cause a little bit of extra chaos. Nades are good, they're banging, but Shurzy 2 is not long for this world. No siree. The double narrowly secured as Jimbo will finally, well, die for the first time after securing 10 frags thus far. Na'Vi are a force to be reckoned with as they have surpassed the halfway mark, almost edging their way to 30 kills. Team Timmy struggling to even hit 15.
Well, Team Timmy gasping for breath and recharge, but is there a pulse? Is there a sign of a voltage in this map for this team? It doesn't seem likely as Na'Vi continue their assault in towards the spawn of Team Timmy, but can they make it stick? 2 kills do come through though, somewhat resetting Na'Vi and somewhat picking up some kills here, trying to close that gap. It seems to be working for Team Timmy right now, but the shock rifle has been picked up by Hollers. Want to see what he can do with this one.
Yeah, exactly. He really needs to step up and try to copy pasta the exact same performance that Kimbo and Jimbo put up, or technically Jimbo put up with it into Foxy a little bit earlier on. You can challenge so many long-range engagements with that shock rifle, and that's something that Foxy was able to do a little bit better. If Hollers can do the exact same thing, then they are ripe for success. Na'Vi getting away with the frag onto Shurzy 2 as well. Active camo, very close to being online yet again, and Lumizer tries to scamper away. Left one shot as the Foxy will pick him up again. Na'Vi seem to be in almost full control right here.
They really are in control to those, and it just does not seem to be stopping right now. Those grenades go out, but Na'Vi continuously capitalising. Active camo is up, but look at Jimbo not want to jump down too early. Kimbo, though, has went straight for it. See, realises a player there, and already look at the reaction, trying to pick it up, trying to shut down that active camo. Will do so, and Na'Vi just do not stop. Not before Lumizer has anything to say about it, though. Can we shut this one down? Repulsor goes out. Kill assist as the player gets moved into the, well, one of the teammates' crosshairs.
Yeah, and the active camo was still online. It's laying on the floor, yet to be picked up by either one of the two sides. I believe that was Lumizer, or excuse me, Sticka, coming out with a near perfect kill as well, as he is being aggressed and quite literally cyberbullied from all directions known to man. To Foxy looking to put in a little bit of work, but he was a little bit too weak in that instance as well. Sticka, the last surviving player, as Jimbo with that active camo strikes yet again.
But look at this, two doors. Na'Vi are 5 kills away from picking up the kill. Ping goes out to make sure the team knows exactly where these players are, these potential points, and those potential points are being converted. 3 more to go, but not if Team Timmy can stop this. 2 kills until Na'Vi win this map out.
2 more kills is all they really need, and that's already one of them to Foxy with a perfect kill. Utilizing that BR to utter perfection finds one, and that means that Team Timmy might need to play a flawless map of Recharge to secure the dub, but they won't get the opportunity to whatsoever. 50-27, your final scoreline for map number 2, and Na'Vi, all they really need is that potential last map of, well, Oddball on Live Fire to immediately advance all the way to our semifinals.
Oddball on Live Fire, two doors. I mean, this is what we always say, it's our favourite. This map is just unreal in terms of the ability to reset the Oddball, to bunker down, hold certain points in the map. I mean, I think there's an overshield active camo that can sometimes spawn. We do have that sniper in the middle of the map, but I mean, Slayer, Na'Vi really put the gauntlet down on that one.
Yeah, they really did, and at the very end of the day, it's not even as if everybody on the side of Na'Vi was actually performing, because I believe it actually was Kimbo that was struggling to actually surpass 5 kills for the vast majority. I only saw the number 2 that was right underneath the little K right over there on our on our HUD as well, and he wasn't necessarily performing as much as what we saw a little bit earlier during that opening map of Strongholds on Streets, but the rest of the squad, they were right there on scene to immediately pick up the slack and just and they were just kind of vibing themselves. They were getting kills. They were outslaying the side of Team Timmy. Timmy, unfortunately enough, they struggled very, very greatly, and now their backs are fully against the wall. They cannot afford to make any more mistakes, else their run through the Halo Chamber tournament will come to an end.
Yeah, but not only that, two doors, that's 2 maps in a row they've somewhat struggled. I mean, we've seen signs of life sometimes, but I mean, it's almost been, I guess, a bit feeble. Almost, they've just get shut down pretty early, and like that, we now move on to the 3rd map. It is Live Fire Oddball, and I can't help but feel as if this will continue this trend that we're seeing of Na'Vi just being absolutely dominant. We do have the scores through on towards our screen, and I mean, you actually look at the kind of scores that come through. Campbell only got 6 kills, Respectful 8. It was 2 Foxy and Jimbo that were just fragging out constantly there, two doors.
Yeah, they very much were. To Foxy as well, he was the guy that initially picked up the active camo on Recharge, and he was able to milk that shock rifle for as much value as possible. We saw a couple of perfect kills come on through. We saw a couple of body shots coupled together with easy cleanups come on through, but to Foxy was really in his elements over on Recharge as well, and if he can carry over that performance in tandem with Jimbo over on Live Fire, then they can simply, you know, once again, I know it sounds very basic, but they can just simply outfrag Team Timmy to the point that they might not even get close to actually contesting the Oddball just in our map number 3 of Live Fire, which is going to be starting soon.
Well, that's it though, two doors. The fact that we are going to get so close to actually bringing up in, what do you call it, seeing that Oddball map. I mean, how much of a reset can you actually get as a team? I mean, Team Timmy have now just been, I mean, I hate to say it, they have been rolled twice, and now on this 3rd map, how do you sit back and like, right boys, let's try and get control of this Oddball. Let's try and get the mental together, especially when you're facing up against such a giant, such a Goliath that is Na'Vi.
I mean, you would quite literally need a motivational speech that would technically, you know, put that of Fabian's to complete, you know, ridicule. That's the kind of motivational speech that you would need to, at the very least, get yourself a single map in response right here in this quarterfinal series. But we don't necessarily need to waffle on for any longer, as we can finally delve right into the action right here. Team Timmy, their backs are against the wall. They need to be able to make a stance right over here and keep the series alive for as long as possible. And a full team wipe narrowly is not exactly the way that you want to start it off. Oddball already in the hands of Foxy, and he can just sit pretty or not. Nah, okay, we have a lobby reset coming on through. Never mind.
Right, unfortunate there, two doors. Remember, folks, if you don't know how Oddball works on this map, and or as the game modes works in general, sorry, it is a best of 3 for these 2 teams to go against one another. Whoever wins the best out of 3, then they win the map point, and well, potential series point if you're Na'Vi.
Definitely so. And Oddball at the very least is like one of the really in my opinion is like one of the coolest OBJ focused game modes that we have available. And there have been a lot of strategies that I've started to develop over the course of the last few months that obviously have been viable for, you know, God knows, for many moons at the very least. But with Na'Vi being a little bit more exposed to the tier 1 strategies, especially on live fire, at the end of the day, it is a pretty big map, and you have to be able to, you know, get your fingers really well on the controller so you can actually properly run that oddball far enough the same way that you would usually run a flag in CTF, so you can just extend the gap, make the opposition's life a living hell, get that oddball somewhere safe to the point that you can start scoring points. There's plenty of strategies that can be employed on live fire, and yeah, Team Timmy, they really need to at the very least go deep into the strat book, see exactly what they can fish out, and as I said, try to get a map under their belt as well to keep this series competitive.
We really do need to see Team Timmy come up big. Already they tried to assault in towards Na'Vi, but they looked as if they were ready for it. I mean, we saw the kind of early flank coming through, and Na'Vi just shut it down. They were picked up 3 kills within, I think it was the first, 15 seconds, and then picked
Something
up the
like
oddball
that, yeah.
from there. So, like, that's absolutely... that the kind of prowess of being able to do that and shut down an already kind of aggressive push is crazy. The adaptability on that team.
Yeah, it very much is crazy. Obviously, I do want to quickly go ahead and say for everybody that is watching the stream at home, we also do have a primary stream. The A stream is also currently being taking place as well right now on twitch.tv/Halo Chamber. And funnily enough, we've got Quadrant versus Blackhand on the A stream that is also taking place on Oddball Live Fire as well. And Blackhand, they find themselves in the exact same shoes as Team Timmy right here, being 2 maps down as well. So a full team wipe comes on through. Heatwave secured as to Foxy once again will take control of the Heatwave, looking to cause a little bit of chaos as Na'Vi, they maintain the oddball in their position for the time being.
Yep, they certainly do, and I believe that was an active camo there. Repulsor up, and look at this. A lovely play from Hollows, but can they do much with it? Trying to contest that S7, and will drop it down. Picked up now, trying to contest. I believe that was it. A Repulsor off the map, potentially it was. Nice kills coming through, and that's nearly a team wipe there, just from one play from Hollows.
Oh, the oddball will force to be dropped as well. At the very least, you do see Lumizer come to the rescue right there and keep that oddball intact on the side of Team Timmy. They do finally get control of it themselves over towards the sniper's nest, and they can start tying up the scoreline right over here, technically forcing the ball into Na'Vi's court and forcing them to put their best foot forward.
Well, we'll need to see if the best foot forward can continue. Oddball on the ground, both teams focused on the gunfights at hand, and it's Team Timmy that's coming up dubs right now, Tutos, but I don't know if that can necessarily continue as Na'Vi look to reset and engage with their opponents.
One more bullet left in that S7 sniper, and it needs to be utilized to utmost perfection right over here. Team Timmy struggling to establish a little bit of map control as Na'Vi is shutting them down at every single twist and turn. The oddball was reset for a second right over here, so Na'Vi, they can maintain control of that for the time being, and it is trying to at the very least be ran over towards dummies, and it does exit out safely. So Na'Vi looking to reestablish their lead as they only have about 5 more points left to go before they tie things up.
Well, there is very, very close. Oh, just things. Well, grenades coming through there, Tutos, almost upsetting this oddball, I believe. Is that getting reset? Yes, it is. And it's Team Timmy that are resetting Na'Vi at the moment. And all the 2 players left are doing the work, though, Tutos. Plenty of grenades, plenty of trades. But can Team Na'Vi gain control of this oddball once again?
We already got Lumizer on the scene to quickly respond. Shurzy 2 being shut down as well over towards the dummy side. We have a Needler in play, ladies and gentlemen, and it's unfortunately going to be shut down as Lumizer was stuck by a plasma grenade right of their beautiful stuff coming out. I believe that was from Respectful, potentially as well. Team Timmy looking to try to get control of this oddball as soon as possible, but Na'Vi is making it a very difficult endeavor, but the oddball is not in a safe position for the time being to actually rack up points. It is stuck, it is stranded, and now it's in the, well, it's in the possession of Timmy.
Well, Tutos, this is the thing. I think we're back on Slayer the way these two teams are just fragging out. No really focus on the objective just yet because it's continuous action. As I say that though, the oddball finally firmly in the hands of Team Timmy, and they're just going to reset it. They're going to take the points and quickly go back. But the thing is though, Navi are already gaining control of mid, dropping down in towards tunnels and picking up that ball.
Good play coming out from Respectful as well, but he doesn't know that on the other side, over towards that open plane, there's a bunch of blue silhouettes awaiting him. S7 Sniper is also now firmly in the hands of Sticka, and he will at the very least be able to cause a lot of chaos with it. Not credited with the kills, that's Shurzy 2 getting the picks right there, but either way, they are starting to frag out just a little bit better compared to earlier. They need to keep up this performance, and they need to keep it up for potentially 2 whole rounds of oddball.
This is true though, Tutos, but continuous again. Navi not taking their foot off the pedal, and already look, it's Respectful just getting caught out there as he tries to assault in towards the oddball. Navi need to reset, they need to take their foot off the gas just for a little bit until they can get control of the map, and they just can't seem to do it just yet.
No, it's very, very tough. You've got the oddball currently in the hands of Shurzy 2 over towards lobby window, and Team Timmy just about to actually hit 70 points. They have secured 2/3 of the scoreline successfully, and Navi are continuously being shut down. Haulers with the S7 in the active camo. That is a recipe for success right there, and he shuts down Respectful, cleaning up, at the very least, the last remaining Navi stragglers, making so much space for Team Timmy to once again reestablish control, get that oddball, and secure this first round win.
Well, this first round is getting close. 25 points just to go here for Team Timmy until they get close to finishing it out. But, well, Navi, they're looking to come back into this one, shutting down the oddball, potentially picking it up from themselves. And look at this, the potential team wipe could be coming through right here as Navi just collect kill after kill. But now the oddball on the ground, somehow regained by Team Timmy just there.
Uh-oh, that's a very ballsy play coming out from Sticker right there. He had to drop the oddball to safely exit on through, and unfortunately, I do believe that our feed has unfortunately crashed, and that could not have come at a worse moment, sadly enough, because we were so very close to seeing if Team Timmy could actually put up their first major result within this quarterfinal series. They only needed roughly 20 points before they would take the advantage on oddball.
I was so close as well there, Tutos. It was potentially, well, I guess within the Team Timmy's grasp. And I mean, on top of that, we looked at it, and that was a much better Team Timmy performance. So we're taking it to Navi.
Much better,
Navi just couldn't get themselves kind of reset. They couldn't get themselves together and actually assault properly. We saw continuous Navi attempts, but it just felt as if they were going in dribs and drabs. And well, with that being the case, Team Timmy just got the mop out and cleaned them all up.
Yeah, exactly. They have shown basically a completely different side to the roster right here on Oddball Live Fire. I don't necessarily want to say that they feel right at home, but that's what their performance is very much actually starting to look like. And keep in mind, they didn't even start off in the most advantageous position. It was Navi that first established control of that oddball as well. And then Team Timmy, they found a way to properly bite back as well. And they started racking up their points. The lead started to get so much more ginormous and big and large, to the point that Navi were very much struggling to keep up the resets that came on through from Team Timmy. They were also played very cleverly. You notice at the very least within the kill feeds, and if you were taking a look at how the team wipes were starting to affect Team Timmy, when they had control of the oddball and they for example, let's say lost out on 3 players, boom, oddball reset. Navi have basically gone through all of that effort for nothing. It was really, really well played on the side of Team Timmy up until this point.
Yeah, and that's it. It was well played up until this point. I think we do have news coming through from Stream A, though, Tudos. I think Quadrant did win 3-0, and well, with that being said, we are just going to go for a quick break until we can get our observer back in, and then we'll get back into it.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Halo Chamber. Unfortunately, we once again have to don the badge of the Bad News Bears because we sadly had to finish off our series between Navi and Team Timmy off stream. And Navi, they were able to, well, basically pick up the clean sweep and finish that off 3-0, booking their tickets to the semifinals.
Yes, they did 2-0, and well, that's it. Navi, we now follow them through and towards the semi-finals, where I believe they are playing Method to Madness, which I imagine will be a pretty good game.
It definitely should be a really exciting game, given the fact that Method to Madness, they were also able to beat out their respective opposition, being the newly acquired Market roster under the banner of Vexed Gaming. That also finished off in a 3-0 fashion, meaning that technically they did also play the exact same map set as Navi versus Team Timmy, and that particular series it also ended off on live fire with Oddball.
Yes, it certainly did 2-0. A few matches finished off pretty quickly, but with that being said, still some exciting matches to go. Quadrant await the winner of Ascend versus the Lads, which will be one to keep their eyes on to see exactly what the score is there. But with that being said, here on Stream B, we already know what we're going to be casting, and we can get straight into the nitty-gritty pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly. Relatively soon, we will be able to hop into the action that is Navi versus Method to Madness, and then over on the A stream, we will naturally have, the side of Quadrant that will face the winner of Ascend versus the Lads, and that is also going to be a very interesting matchup, to say the darn least. So if you are, for example, doing things very wrong and not a proper, or I should say an avid esports viewer, and you got two monitors, go ahead and boot up both streams. Keep one on each screen. You've got twitch.tv/Confetti Esports, the B stream, and then twitch.tv/Halo Chamber being the A stream itself, where you can find all of the action itself.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting a little highlight of video here, 2-0, of exactly everything that went through, and there's some absolutely lovely shots coming through here. The killing sprees, all shots were happening on Recharge and Slayer, and finally an Oddball. What we did have, there was a few highlights. Team Timmy finally coming alive on Free Fire, but now we do have our winners, that will be Navi.
Yeah, exactly, and it is a little bit unfortunate that, as I said, we couldn't get through the entirety of Oddball as well, but at the very least, we do have some statistics that we can pull from the scoreboard from that particular matchup, and at the very least, it is safe to say that if we would have been able to see that with our own two eyes, it would have been one hell of a series, because it took all 3 rounds of Oddball before the side of Navi were finally able to claim victory all to themselves.
Yeah, it really did take that long, and I mean, look how many kills there is. We've got Hollers and Sticker. They were on 30 kills apiece. Sherzy 2 and Limizer 17 apiece. And then we look at Navi, man, with to Foxy dropping a 35 bomb in free fire. It was just,
Live
it's just so live fire. Sorry, I said free fire. I honestly do that all the time, but like, it's just so sad to miss out on that one.
Yeah, it is a really unfortunate that we were able to, well, miss out on the action that took place on live fire, because we, at the very least, we were able to catch glimpses of just how well Navi could play within those 2 opening maps, and specifically to Foxy, like, he really left an imprint on Recharge Slayer as well, being one of the top fraggers in that respect as well, and then he basically just took that performance to new heights, to new extremes right here on live fire Oddball, as you said, dropping 35 frags and only dying out 21 times, and I believe that is also the lowest death counter within the server as well. So Navi rightfully earned their spot in the semifinals. Congratulations to them, and commiserations to the side of Team Timmy, because unfortunately enough for them, their run throughout the single elimination tournament that we have here within Halo Chamber has sadly come to an end.
It has. Well, with that being said, though, 2-2, we have wrapped up this quarter-finals, and we are going to get ready for the semi-finals to come through. That will be Method to Madness versus Navi. We'll be able to get into the players, get into the map bans, but that's after about a 5 to 10 minute break.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Halo Chamber. This time around, we have finally concluded all of our quarterfinal matchups, and we can finally get to the real meat and potatoes to determine which of these last four teams, two of which are going to make it to the grand finals. My name is Tudors. Alongside me, I've got none other than Cairo, and we have got what is sure to be in stock one banging matchup ahead of us.
Yes, exactly, Tudors. We have an excellent matchup. It's Na'Vi versus Method to Madness. These two teams both winning 3-0 respectively in their quarterfinals. So we're going to maybe get a little bit more, I'm not going to say a more contested semi-final, because the quarterfinals, I imagine, probably did have some contention, especially thinking Na'Vi on live fire. But with that being said, I'm looking forward to this semi-final.
Yeah, definitely so. Let's go ahead and, well, pull up the bracket so we can once again take a look at how the story has unfolded thus far over the course of these last 2 days. We can see that the Ascend matchup, that quarterfinal versus the Lads, seems to actually be going the full distance, and that would be very much interesting to see if we could maybe get some highlights off of that at a later date. Either way, we have got Na'Vi versus Method to Madness in our upcoming semi-final matchup. Method to Madness, as you said, taking out the former Mock roster now known as Vex Gaming in a 3-0 fashion, the same way that Na'Vi did versus Team Timmy, and this is starting to shape up to be a very competitive series. I hope that we at the very least will be able to see 4 maps in this semi-final series, because otherwise, if it's going to be another clean sweep, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, Tudors, I really want to see it. I want to see us go the distance. I want to see us hit that map number 5, finish off the night in fashion. But, well, we'll need to see exactly if that will be the case in this semi-final. Already, we're going to get a reminder of exactly who Na'Vi are. Jimbo, Kimbo, Respectful, and 2Foxy. And, I mean, we have to talk about 2Foxy's performance in that first best of 5.
Yeah, we certainly do. He was fragging out on every single one of the maps on our opening series, or at the very least on our opening map of Strongholds on Streets. Not exactly the best performance, but he did really pick up the slack over on Recharge Slayer, dropping close to 19 frags. I believe it was actually Jimbo who was able to accomplish that, and Foxy was very closely behind at 17 kills. And he was really, you know, putting the work in with a lot of those power weapons. And then over on the side of that final map of Oddball and Live Fire, he was able to drop 35 frags over the course of 3 Oddball rounds. So absolutely miraculous stuff coming on from him, and obviously I wouldn't be surprised if he won't keep up that same performance over into this semi-final series.
Well, we'll need to see exactly if that can be the case, but let's have a look at Method to Madness here, Tudors. Ebby, Mentlan, Blizz, and the Speed Show. What are you thinking here?
What am I thinking? I think to myself that I know absolutely nothing about Method to Madness, sadly, and this is going to be the first time where they can really actually start to woo me with their overall performances. They were able to, as I said, take their own respective quarterfinal 3-0. That does and surely mean that they were able to literally steamroll their way through Vexed Gaming. Really, that just means that this is shaping up to be an exciting semi-final matchup. But now that we have covered off all of the rosters, let's go ahead and take a look at our battlegrounds of choice. They are going to be a little bit more different than how the quarterfinals played off, and I'm already loving what I'm seeing. This map veto immediately kicking off with Bazaar CTF. You gotta love it.
Yeah, you really do. Bazaar sometimes ends up being bizarre, let's be honest, the way that things can happen. Street Slayer could be a bit chaotic, very close quarters combat. That's the stuff we like to see. Recharge Oddball will be an interesting one. It makes that map a little bit more exciting, considering there's all those little places that you can hide the Oddball. There's that one place out towards where the energy sword usually spawns that we can reset. Then if we start to go towards the distance, we start to go to that exciting kind of side of the series. We do have Live Fire, where we're going to get Strongholds and Aquarius Slayer. I'm not too excited about Aquarius, but I'm excited about everything else.
Yeah, as am I. Live Fire Strongholds obviously plays a little bit more differently compared to all of the other Strongholds maps in general, just because the layout is a little bit more wonky than you would expect. Just, you know, you've got technically B that is over towards the green building. You've then got, I believe it is C, which is just underneath the sniper nest, and then you've also got A, which is all the way in the lobby. At the very least, the layout, it does really put 2 of those cap points much closer to each other, and then you've got the sniper's nest, which is kind of just like the forgotten child. It's kind of like the middle child of all of the family right there on live fire. But either way, we shan't be keeping you guys waiting all too long, because we have received confirmation that all 8 players from Na'Vi and Method to Madness are basically ready to go within the lobby, so we should be hopping into the action momentarily.
Yep, we certainly should hear 2 doors. Well, this first map, we are going to be Bizarre versus Bizarre CTF, and 2 doors, sometimes this can really just be a lockout. 2 teams trying to battle against one another, trying to break that kind of that initial kind of lockout from both teams. But when that initial lockout happens, when we see the first point kind of go, this is when it starts to get exciting. So what are you thinking here? Do you think we will get that lockout, or do you think we'll just see the Na'Vi aggression coming through, winning out this map for them?
Personally, I think it's going to be the lockout. I really think that this is going to be a long and very drawn-out standoff, at the very least. And it's not necessarily going to be, you know, something that we saw, for example, with the Barracudas in the NSC finals, where they were able to get, like, 5 flag caps in less than 10 minutes. I think it is going to be a very competitive series. I personally would surmise that one of these 2 squads could maybe reach 4 flag caps, but a flawless score line off the table. The gloves have certainly come off. This is going to be a bare-knuckle brawl between MTM and the side of Na'Vi.
Yeah, it could easily come down to that already. We are getting into this here 2 doors, and already we are seeing those grenades fly, those bullets fly, and finally we've seen our first fragment plan getting picked up by Na'Vi. But look at this, it seems as if we've actually got a couple trades coming through. Method to Madness taking up that overshield, and well, I mean, they've taken control of that mid section.
Yeah, they very much have. I'm not exactly sure where the Spanker is and who holds onto it for the time being, and that is Sir Ebby ramping up the aggression, getting right up in the face of Na'Vi with the grapple shield. Finds himself with 1 frag as they're trying to shut down the player that is tucked in by that small little carpet shop right over here, and that is Kimbo that will finally be shut on down. Method to Madness creating so much space as they're advancing closer and deeper into enemy territory.
Well, with the way that the enemy territory is going, it seems as if we are going to get our first flag stolen. Speed Show being the man to do the business, but already Na'Vi reacting. Can they pick up the kill? Yes, they can. And it's just run of the mill for them. This flag is getting ready to return. But on the other side of the map here, 2 doors, Na'Vi, they've picked up that flag.
Yeah, indeed they have, and it is going to be a little bit awkward as both flags need to be escorted to the opposing sides of the map. It is going to be very uncomfortable as the MTM flag could potentially be picked up in a hot second by Na'Vi before it resets on through to Foxy, also very deep in enemy territory, is able to pick up a very easy cleanup onto Sir Ebby right there, and they're looking to contest the flag once again and move it up a couple extra meters.
Is this Spider-Man, or are we watching Jumbo right now, the way he's flying all around that map, trying to get ready to contest? The flag making it all the way through and towards Na'Vi's spawn, and there we go. We have our first point, and it goes to Na'Vi.
Ooh, very, very solid stuff coming out from Na'Vi as well. MTM, it really seemed as if they basically put their best foot forward multiple times, right? They were able to establish so much mid control, and then when they started going for that flag, they had to sort of divide their attention over multiple facets, and it kind of just fell apart right there. They kind of fell into Na'Vi's trap, and they were able to really get control of that first flag cap.
Oh, nearly getting caught out here, 2 doors, and no, this flag will be looking to get returned. Frag grenades flying left, right, and centre. MTM finally do the business and look to take that foot forward towards Na'Vi's spawn, where finally there's 3 players, now make it 4, ready to contest in towards this push that may be coming through from MTM.
Yeah, hopefully so. They are lagging shortly behind Na'Vi in the slaying department thus far, but that may soon change. At the very least, a trade coming on through, and that is going to leave, well, Mentland and Respectful down in the dump staring at their respawn screens. The Spanker will be picked up as it went online, but it will be shut down. So Na'Vi, they have full control of the rocket launcher as well, and that kind of staves off the progression that MTM are trying to build up. It brings it to a halt as they are trying to move that flag through mid.
Yeah, not only that though, it puts Navi's foot further forward, trying to contest on towards doors. Don't give up the spanker like this.
Aw.
That Jimbo, that's so unfortunate. Just giving that away for free. And it seems as if MTM, they are really starting to put the work in now, picking up the kills. Lovely double kill here. Can it make it 3? No, just actually jumps over. That's just so unfortunate. The flag though is making its way as the dynamo grenades do go out to stop the push, stop what's happening. Try and get this point down. It is very close, and there we are, 1 apiece.
Yeah, Methods of Madness, really good stuff coming out from them. Despite the fact that they didn't have power weapons on their side, they were still able to beautifully use the thrust. Sir Ebby specifically tossing out dynamo grenades really created so much space and forced Na'Vi to a grinding halt on their defense. The overshield, I believe, has been picked up as well by Speed Show, and he will quickly activate it as well. He can potentially just start to sort of juggernaut run this flag and getting a little bit of progress as well, as Method to Madness are looking for their second point here.
They are looking to go, and now they have to walk across the dreaded centre of this map. And look at this, look at Jimbo. He maybe go up huge, but he's already starting to get shut down. Those players being a little bit suppressive, trying to shut him down, but they're all in different and awkward positions. A trade comes out, sets off a killing spree though for Speed Show. He's continuously working this BR2 doors and working mid. So well played from MTM right now.
11 frags to his name might not seem like a lot, but the impact that he's been able to deliver has been through the roof thus far. Speed to Show, and his killing spree will finally be brought to an end, and Sir Ebby is going to surpass his teammate right there, looking for some more work as he smacks a triple on the face of Bazaar right here. Methods of Madness are in their element. They've secured a second flag cap. Nafi seem to basically appear as a shadow of their former selves in this opening map.
Yes, they do not look as if they're able to contest, and a full team wipe comes through for Method to Madness. And well, with that being said, they'll go and take Navi's flag because of that, and they'll run all the way back towards spawn with their hands running wide, almost celebrating already as they get towards that doors situation. This is where the key point is. There's a player already waiting to pick up that flag from Navi to contest it, but can they do it?
Oh.
No, they can't. The flag will make its way through. A nice grapple onto that, and that will be another point for MTM.
Man, 3-1 the scoreline is really not how I expected this series to immediately kick off. Na'Vi are struggling more than I have ever seen them personally. Sir Ebby, so close to hitting 20 kills himself, is really the MVP on this bizarre CTF map thus far. Speed Show TTV also lagging just a little bit behind with 12 kills to his name, as the Spanker will finally activate, find one onto Jimbo. Second rocket exhausted as well before finally being shut on down. And Na'Vi seem to, at the very least, try and attempt to get themselves a foothold as to Foxy will finally get himself 2 kills to his name, hitting 13 right here.
Yes, certainly hitting 13. Mentalin does get picked up there though, 2 doors. So we need to see exactly how Na'Vi can put their next foot forward in this matchup as they're knocking on the door of this base, of this spawn. Can they do the work that they need to do? It certainly looks likely as the assault team seems to be working out right now. But the Spartan assault team, they are going to actually leave their base a little bit open here, 2 doors, as both flags are getting picked up.
Oh, so unfortunate from Speed Show as well. He only had a frame to react, and he had the Bulldog ready for a CQB engagement, but it couldn't necessarily work out. Good defense coming on through on the side of Na'Vi, and the flag has actually skirted on through, and it is so close to being a second point in the field of Na'Vi right there. Good shutdown, and we do need Blizz to at the very least step things up and get this flag return confirmed. Na'Vi are not going to let this one slide without a say, and I do believe, no, wait, has the flag actually been reset? Nah, it's actually safe. Na'Vi are well on their way to getting a second point, and there it is, closing the gap to 1.
Yes, 1 score between these two, and well, we couldn't at least have overtime, and I think that's a fair enough assumption to go for these two teams. Seems if Na'Vi though already looking to assault in towards the base. Jimbo just getting annihilated there from the POV that we saw. Mentalin already trying to assault in, gets shut down though. That flag looking easily picked up, but it seems if Method to Madness just have answers all the time. The AR coming out actually gets a kill from it, and here we go. Na'Vi begin their assault.
Yeah, really good stuff coming out from Na'Vi. They have the overshield as well to aid in this assault. Method to Madness need to wait for those respawns to come on through, and they have broken through that frontline defense. Na'Vi and Respectful specifically can start running that flag, as Method to Madness now have to actually try to halt this progression. They are deep inside of Na'Vi's home base. You can see they have created a line of defense, but Jimbo's already on the scene. He picks up one before Foxy's been traded off, and suddenly flag progression has been brought to a grinding halt. A full team wipe comes on through. A triple secured by Speed Show as the return is almost successful for them. There it goes. Na'Vi's efforts, sadly, have been for naught.
Yeah, but look at the reaction from Na'Vi. Straight away, they just send it in towards MTM's base, and they're just doing the work that they need to do. But MTM, they're not allowing them to do anything. The flag makes its way towards the doors situation. But look at this, there's a double kill coming through here by Kimbo. Make it a triple. Can we get a team wipe? Can we get a multi-kill? No, not yet, because no one wants to contest our main man here.
Oh, one more rocket left, and that's going to secure a 5th for Speed Show right there. To Foxy trades it back off and returns his team's flag as well. Skirting off with the grapple shot. Beautiful usage of that power up, and he will keep his life intact for a little bit longer. It seems as if we might have transitioned over to a slight standoff, as neither squad can technically break free. Method to Madness, if they can secure a 4th flag cap in the next 2 minutes, then it's safe to say that they can confirm this first map victory. Else, if Na'Vi get a 3rd, and they desperately need to force it to overtime, then we might just have a game of Bazaar on our hands.
Oh, well, certainly looks like we do, Tudos, because look at the way these teams are. Look at where the flags are. It seems as if it's going to be 3-3 with 2 minutes to go between these two amazing teams.
Okay, now things are really starting to heat up, but nobody's left the kitchen just yet. Sir Ebby, with the overshield intact, is looking to run that flag as soon as possible, yet to actually deal, or no, they have dealt with Respectful at the top of the East Market as well, so now they really start to build up some more momentum.
Well, we'll need to see how this momentum goes. Na'Vi already looking to play that defense, and the defense works out. But remember, Tudos, that was in the middle of the map, so now it easily can be converted into an attacking stance here for Na'Vi. Already looking to assault in towards the base. Grenades going out, and the forces of Na'Vi looking to convene on this base.
Yeah, definitely so. We've got 70 seconds of play left. If either team can secure a flag cap, then that means a map conversion in their favor as well. Na'Vi, though, only have one player alive, and that is Kimbo, as the respawns start to slightly come on through. It's the brothers, Jimbo and Kimbo, to try to hold this one off. The flag also technically secured by MTM, but unfortunately enough for Medlen, he's struggling to actually push it a little bit further. Deals with one defender, but now the rest of MTM need to converge on this opposition flag and get it forward.
But it's not going to happen. The reset comes through. The flag goes back towards base, and Na'Vi move into their forward stands, ready to poise themselves towards pushing. But the thing is, though, Tudos, MTM are just not letting them move, continuously picking frag up after frag, and we need to see a point soon, as we're 20 seconds left.
Overtime or sudden death might definitely be on the cards right here, as there's only 10 seconds left. It seems as if both teams are starting to realize that reality is creeping on in. This series could not get off to a more even start, and we will need that extra round of OT to determine who takes Bazaar CTF. It has been a crazy first map thus far, but it's not over just yet.
It's not over at all as well. Both teams will return to their spawns and run straight out to try and contest. Everything has respawned and everything is ready to go between these two teams. Already the assault in towards mid, the battlegrounds, the skirmish begins. Spanker in towards Na'Vi's hands, and it's not going to work out though.
Nah, sadly enough, you do have to crank up that rocket launcher shortly before you can utilize it, and that, unfortunately enough, was to Foxy's demise right there. It will be recovered by Sir Ebby. A potential multi-kill to work with as well if he can isolate the right gunfights, but the Spanker's been shut down. A wasted rocket. A good trade secured by MTM.
It is a really good trade, and the assault has been, well, stopped for the time just now, but already MTM looking to reconvene and start their push once again. The Spanker holding down this base of operations for Na'Vi for the time being here, two doors, but look at the way everyone is just taking their time to move forward, trying to work as a unit, and I think there's one player found themselves in towards the spawn of Method to Madness.
Yeah, slow and steady can tend to usually, well, win the race, as the saying usually goes, but Na'Vi are looking to make moves, and suddenly, well, Sir Ebby's plate is more than full for the time being. He has to stave off these last two attackers to his dying breath. One engagement goes in his favor onto Kimbo, but he's not long for this world, sadly enough. Jimbo is quick to respond, but that flag isn't making ideal progress on the side of Na'Vi just yet. They have to wait for team respawns to come on through before they can safely secure it, and MTM already making moves of their own as well.
Yeah, they really are making moves of their own. People trying to get kills here. And well, the thing is, though, two doors, that flag stuck in no man's land. Jimbo's trying to contest, as well as his main man here is respectful with the Bulldog in hand. Doesn't actually be able to pick up that flag in time, I believe, and that flag will be returned. Both flags returned, actually. And well, here we go. Batman grappling all the way up towards those rafters and ready to contest in towards the base.
So Foxy, all on his lonesome, has been able to work quite a lot of magic into this series thus far, ending the regular play, I believe, with about 25 kills to his name, and looking to farm a little bit more. Na'Vi are super duper close to getting this flag, this opposing flag, in their possession, but the thing is that they've got about 2 minutes and 30 seconds to ensure that they walk away with a successful cap and take this first map. MTM, they are starting to really feel the pressure.
The pressure starting to mount here, two doors, and look at this. No team can break the deadlock between each other. Both players can't seem to find it. The 360 comes through. A lovely kill there by Respectful. A trade after a double kill though, and just like that we will see victory come through. Na'Vi will break the deadlock and will win out map number 1.
Goodness, what an absolute bombastic way to actually kick off that series. CTF on Bazaar. It seemed to be, it very, very much seemed to actually be Method to Madness's map the moment that they were able to establish their lead of 3-1. But then Na'Vi clutched it. There's no other word that I can actually bring from my very tiny thesaurus brain other than they clutched it up, securing 2 flags to force OT and then winning out on OT. Technically 3 flag caps in a row, totaling up to 4. Ridiculous stuff coming out from Na'Vi.
Oh, it really was ridiculous stuff coming out from Na'Vi, but two doors, I mean, we've got to think of the whole map. 1 score by Na'Vi, 3 in a row by Method to Madness, and another 3 in a row by Na'Vi. That stuff was crazy. Overtime was even crazier. It really was a deadlock between these two teams, and finally, we can move in towards this next map, and hopefully Method to Madness will be able to reset and keep this competition up.
Yeah, definitely. So I am just quickly looking to see if we can if I can like scrounge through the next map, but either way we can still pull up that map veto on screen once again for those of you guys that forgot, because truthfully after that series the second map just kind of flew over my head and I've completely forgotten what it is. But either way, it is going to be Slayer on Streets as our second map as well, so we won't necessarily get to focus a lot more on OBJs. We're going to keep things classy. Who can slay the best is gonna take that second map. As simple as that, really.
Yeah, that's totally true. And, oh, just to get, I think we just got an update there, two doors. I think Ascend actually were able to win out 3-1 against the lads, so they're going to move through and play Quadrant in the other semi-final. Yep. So with that being said, it's Quadrant versus Ascend, another one, and right here it's Na'Vi versus Method to Madness, as you've already seen. So Streets, Slayer, two doors. How does this one usually form out? Where's our kind of action points to be looking out for?
Well, typically the action points are going to be the exact same as any other game mode that is played on Streets, but just minus the OBJ. You are going to be fighting for that Spanker, as per usual. Yeah. That is where the focal point is going to be for Streets. And, you know, you can occasionally try to go for a Bulldog, maybe even a Stalker Rifle as well, but that's like priority tier level 2. Priority number 1 is getting that Spanker in your possession as soon and as quickly as possible. It typically ends off in a bloodshed, to say the very darn least, while they fight for those rockets.
Well, I'm excited to see some bloodshed. I mean, that first map had plenty of it. I can't even call a winner for this map, if I'm going to be honest, when it comes towards a Slayer game mode. But I'm sure Na'Vi, again, are the slight favourites just because, Tudors, they are Na'Vi.
Yeah, the name, well, it demands a certain level of respect as well, and with that and on top of that, it also sort of demands a certain level of performance if you are playing under that banner. And thus far, the performance on the side of Na'Vi has been nothing but exquisite in that first map. Can they keep up the tempo? Can they keep up the pace right here on Streets? By the looks of it, it's going to be a little bit tricky. 3 kills already in their favor as MTM are looking to try to bite back.
Well, with this being said already, it seems as if Method to Madness have put their foot slightly forward, but Na'Vi, they obviously have it under control for the time being, keeping a lead of 1. Method to Madness keeping their units tight, keeping their numbers tight, not wanting to walk too far, and well, it's starting to pay dividends as well. They've evened it up now with a freebie onto Kimbo.
Yeah, I do love what I'm seeing from Method to Madness, though, at the very least. You can see from those silhouettes and from those player icons that they are doing their best to stick together as a full pack and move together, ensuring that their refract potential is sky high. But sadly enough, that tactic's been read into and shut down by Na'Vi as they once again reestablish their lead. But it's not all too comfortable just yet for Na'Vi. Method to Madness really putting up a fight here.
Yeah, they really are putting up a fight, and it seems as if nobody can really establish a key lead. But as I say that, though, Na'Vi, like a battering ram, mow everyone down. A nice double kill coming through from Kimbo. Picks up a nice couple of kills. 11-8 the scoreline now. A lead being established of 3. But can Na'Vi capitalise on that even more? The Spanker coming up very shortly. 20 seconds left until that's up. Both teams will have eyes on that one already. Na'Vi trying to hold it down. I don't know if I like that spacing, but yes, 20 seconds. Make that 10 seconds now.
Mentland is one particular name that hasn't really been part of the conversation thus far. Don't get me wrong, he was able to put up a couple of impact frags, but at the very least right here on Streets, whole different side to Mentland with 5 kills leading the charge on the side of MTM and technically being the spearhead to success is really working in the favor of MTM, but they gotta narrow that gap down, and sadly enough, they have lost out on the Rockets yet again. Direct impact is also going to be, well, to Foxy's undoing, sadly enough, but that was the second rocket already expended, so I guess it's kind of fine.
Yeah, I guess it's okay. Kimbo, though, they're looking to see if they can try and pick up anybody, any stragglers left. And, well, I mean, Speed Show maybe looking like a bit of a straggler here. Oh, he's caught sprinting, and a perfect kill comes through for Kimbo. That's a lovely kill there. 4 kill lead, established right now. But Kimbo being caught off guard, and maybe a few others as well, as it seems as if we have Method to Madness back in this match.
Yeah, certainly so. 2 more kills before they tie up the kill count thus far, and Method to Madness are really starting to find themselves on this matchup right here. Kimbo not long for this world either, as Foxy is being harassed by 2 separate players. Method to Madness finally starting to actually get a level of cohesion that really will be the recipe of success on Street Slayer thus far. We are neck and neck, and Na'Vi is at the very least able to break through that deadlock and extend the gap to 2.
Yeah, they certainly are looking like they will be able to do it, and that nice little trade there comes through. You've got to just keep scoring points here, Tudors, whether it does come through in trades through both punching each other or even a comrade coming to help things out. Right now, though, Method to Madness, they're trying to see if they can pick anybody up, searching, scouring every single corner. And look at this, Sir Ebby assaulting towards the spawn, gets a nice kill there, turns round, trying to help out his comrades. Can he get the kill? No, he can't, but assisting getting one.
Yeah, that was a very good convergence onto Respectful as well. 2 separate players, one coming from the staircase and one coming from the Bulldog spawn. A really good team play and overall team shots coming out through from the side of Method to Madness as they have established the lead for the first time in this Slayer matchup right here. Mentland, the only player in the server to already hit double digits and now surpass that as well, as he gets 12, securing the trade onto Jimbo as well. Na'Vi, they're lagging behind. It's only a gap of 4 kills and they still have time to make that up.
Yes, they have plenty of time to make that one up 2 doors, but it needs to take at least one team wipe to really get close if they want to not waste anything right now. Trades continuously coming through, and it seems as if Na'Vi are starting to make work. A nice kill there from Kimbo as they try to assault in towards where Method to Madness actually are, trying to go down towards this flank, trying to catch players off guard. Here, Mentalin, he may be getting caught off guard. Those 3 players stick up and create a firing squad for any player that tries to contest. Frag grenades coming through. It's like an artillery strike here.
Yeah, it really much is, but sadly for Na'Vi, until they respawn, they don't exactly have many grenades to work with, and now a near full team wipe comes on through on the side of MTM, and Na'Vi are still not all too comfortable as they need 4 kills to close off that gap to Foxy. Not exactly feeling all too comfortable in this slaying environment compared to previous matchups. We do have Kimbo at the very least leading the charge. The Bulldog doesn't connect, sadly enough, and will be forced to rotate off, and that's been shut down as well. Stalker Rifle, bit messy, but at the end of the day, it does work on through for the side of Method to Madness, as they are just about to hit 40 kills. They've got 11 more to go to take map 2.
11 more to go, but I mean, 2 doors. Thing is, though, Na'Vi, they've only got... Oh, that's a beautiful double kill. I was about to say, Na'Vi have only got 4 to go until they were catching up on their opponents. Na'Vi certainly will have some words to say and trying to stop their opponents here.
Man, Menlan is really making me reconsider how often I should be rocking the Stalker Rifle in my matchups as well. That was a lovely 2-piece, and Jimbo's gonna blow 2 separate MTM players sky high right there. But unfortunately enough for for the side of Na'Vi, they are still 4 kills behind. MTM basically need a full team wipe plus 1 extra kill, totaling up to 5 to secure this second map. It is starting to get competitive, but Na'Vi clawed back by 2 kills, and suddenly that gap, it may as well have been gone, but Method's Madness still remain in control. 4 more left to go.
4 more left to go, 2 doors. But the thing is, though, Na'Vi are really starting to put in the work. It's starting to get close. It's starting to get dangerously close for these 2 teams. But it seems as if MTM are looking to close this out. They've only got 2 more points to go. 2 more kills to find. Can they find the first here? No, they can't. Player just drops out there. But Sarebi, he's in the flanks. He's in behind. And there we go. Map number 2 goes towards MTM. 1-1 as the scoreline in this map count.
Absolutely brilliant performance coming out from the side of MTM, and specifically Mentlin as well, because he was almost able to hit 20 kills as well in a slaying environment as well. And it just goes to show that when you don't have, for example, extra things to focus on, such as running a flag or claiming control of an oddball, you can just, you know, literally turn on a little bit of Monster Cat and just go out fragging. That is basically all that Mentlin was able to accomplish, and it certainly aided in the side of Method to Madness securing themselves that map number 2, and that does tie up the scoreline in this best of 5 semifinal. So it's all even Steven right over here, moving into our 3rd map. And at this certain stage, if Method to Madness can continuously take those slaying maps, then we are likely going to be going the full distance with this one.
That is potentially true, but the thing is, though, 2 doors is our last map, not Slayer. So if by that if that's the case, then we could be seeing a potential either a winner on Slayer, or even we might see Na'Vi win it out before then. If we go through, the Na'Vi are going to win all the objective-based games. But with that being said, I believe our next map, I think, is Recharge Oddball, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir. It is going to be Oddball on Recharge. We did see Recharge just a little bit earlier in the quarterfinals, but that was obviously Slayer, and now we're going to be saying, at the very least, seeing a new side to the map as well. And I'm personally really excited. It has been a hot second since the 2 of us have been able to actually cast Oddball on Recharge, but obviously we've had our fair share of playing it during matchmaking as well. We kind of, as casters, dare I say this, know how to play the game.
I mean, you might know how to play the game, 2 doors, but come on, I'm stuck in the elo hell when it comes to Halo. Come on.
Unfortunate. I mean, who isn't after the rank resets came on through? I have yet to even finish my placements. I was like at the very least like almost very close to surpassing Diamond and hitting Onyx in the first half of the season, but I haven't been able to play enough ranked since the reset came on through. But regardless, Recharge Oddball is going to be next up, and we at the very least can start to pull in a little bit of information from that quarterfinal matchup with Foxy going balls to the wall with his performance, and the exact same thing can be said for the side of Jimbo, or was it Kimbo? No, it was definitely Jimbo as well. They were very close to hitting 20 kills each on recharge as well, but Oddball, entirely different beasts, and we also don't know how the side of MTM are going to perform in this kind of environment. We don't know how good their Oddball game is. We know for a fact that, yeah, Na'Vi, they were able to, at the very least, get their last map of live fire during the quarterfinals on Oddball as well, although it was a bit of a struggle considering the fact that it went all 3 rounds.
Yeah, this is true. And well, I mean, does that maybe show weakness on the side of Na'Vi, or does it maybe show the strength of their opponents? But I mean, this is the thing though, Method to Madness look even better than Team Timmy, so maybe this could be a potential slip up for Na'Vi. I hope that kind of 3-rounder though does kind of, how would I put it, put them in a good place, put them in a spot where maybe they can kind of be warmed up. But I do worry though, moving on to recharge.
Yeah, I do worry just a little bit as well. Obviously, now Na'Vi realize exactly what they are up against after that performance. Right here, as you can see some of the highlights from Streets. Beautiful stuff coming out from basically every single one of the players. They had some level of impact as well. Specifically, that at the very least, like my highlight was definitely that Stalker double kill coming out from Mentlin.
Oh, yeah.
It's not every day you see a Stalker kill, a Stalker double kill actually come out like that, and that was just beautiful to see.
The thing is, though, Tudos, we're talking negatively about Na'Vi as if they didn't compete that well on Streets. But we think
they competed really well, yeah.
Yeah, it was 45-50, and Na'Vi had the initial lead for most of that map. So I guess, like, I mean, we're saying, like, I'm using the language like, oh, this is a potential slip up, this could be a chance for MTM. But at the same time, though, it's still Na'Vi. They could still easily come out and do Na'Vi things.
Yeah, that is entirely true. They can still just do Na'Vi things, as you said. But once again, this is technically the most even matchup that at the very least the B stream will catch throughout the entirety of this evening. It has very much proved to be a very even matchup thus far. Both teams, they have essentially won 4 maps and lost 1 when you also factor in the quarterfinal performances as well. This is obviously shaping up to go the full distance, and whoever is able to take this 3rd map of Oddball on recharge will hit series points and gets them 1 step closer to reaching our grand finals.
Well, we'll need to see if they can take that step forward here, Tudos, if they can actually be the ones to win out, because whoever moves on, or whoever wins this map here, Tudos, moves towards series point for the next couple of maps, takes that advantage. Here we are going to be moving straight in here, and already the grenades and bullets fly across the map.
Oh goodness, look at all of Na'Vi just literally firing squad themselves over to the side of MTM, and it's a full team wipe coming in within the first 15 seconds. I haven't seen that much of a dominant start off to any map thus far within Halo Chamber.
Yep, the oddball has been collected by Na'Vi, but can they keep it? It's already on the ground here. But the thing is, though, all the wipes, all the kills going in favour of Na'Vi. It seems as if a beast has been awoken and respectful, trying to escape here with this oddball, using the grenade to clear these corners and searching to see if they can find one. Yes, he can. Maybe another here. Maybe no. Going to be traded out, though. So with that being said, the oddball will stay on the ground for the time being.
Still plenty of good work having been done by Respectful in that instance right there. Kimbo and Speed Show evenly trade themselves on out, but the oddball still remains in the possession of Na'Vi towards the service tunnel. This strategy typically ends off to be game winning, and MTM, they really need to strap themselves in and find a way to deal with it. But the oddball, I think, could have gone for an attempted reset on the side of Na'Vi, but was cut short towards, well, actually moving its way towards the edge of the map. But either way, it's back dead center, back to square one we go, as the oddball will actually now be collected by the side of Na'Vi. Still, MTM yet to score a point.
This is worrying signs here, Tudos, as Na'Vi start to hit the quarter point and the score. 25 points for them, and the grenades just seem to keep hitting their mark, keep hitting the place, and I think that's the oddball getting ready to reset here by Na'Vi. Yes, I'm not going to take any chances there, which is well played. That oddball will be reset, and both teams looking to contest.
Yeah, Method to Madness already have the positioning in their favor. They're close up over towards mid and Tetris, so they can definitely get that oddball soon enough, and Mendlin will secure it, and he can rotate it off to wherever his heart desires. But either way, it's not the most comfortable of positions just yet. They need to wait for a little bit of extra backup, and Na'Vi are quickly converging on that service tunnel. They've shut down the oddball, and it's actually fallen off.
It really has fallen off, and with that being said, Na'Vi will collect that oddball, move up towards service tunnels. The strategy that you were touting is game winning, and it certainly seems to be the case as we hit that 40 mark for Na'Vi. The long range angles though going in favour of MTM for the time being, and well, we'll need to see if this can continue. The oddball will be dropped, and MTM will nearly wipe Na'Vi, the only one player left, and that was Jimbo.
Yeah, now the respawns do come on through as well for Na'Vi, and they can once again see if they can secure that oddball, but it's fallen into the possession of MTM. Good shutdown as well onto Blizz as he tried to get that oddball off to a safer position, but didn't exactly happen. The team shots were simply on point from Na'Vi right there.
Well, we'll need to see if they can keep hitting those shots to doors. The oddball, though, going into the hands of MTM, and that's all that really matters at this time being. It's going to get dropped once again, and Na'Vi close in on that position. Shock rifle in hand. BR also doing the work. Can they make this vertical position really close down their opponents?
Speed Show looking to potentially shut down to Foxy as well with that shock rifle in his back pocket, but unfortunately enough, he will be collapsed as to Foxy does actually pick up a nice little two-piece right there as he is very close to hitting double digits. Na'Vi will once again secure that oddball over towards the service tunnel, and they're looking to rack up points. They need 40 more to go before they can get themselves this first round.
Well, that's the thing, 2 doors, 40 more to go, and it's counting down ever so quickly. The way that MTM are really starting to, I see, lose grasp, but they've got a grasp on that skill, the grasp on that oddball. It seems if grenades are going out, a killer sift coming through there, and it seems if that oddball will be picked up by Jimbo. We're still stuck with 40 to go though. We need to see Na'Vi continue to score and hold down a position.
Not exactly. There's the active camo. It's in possession of Respectful right over here, but he's been found out and very close to actually being shut down as well. To Foxy loses his life as Speed Show is in a bit of a sticky situation. Na'Vi, though, good established positions over towards the service tunnel, but Method to Madness need to respond very quickly with this aggression. They will at the very least shut things down. They get control of the oddball and they hold off Na'Vi just for a little bit longer.
Well, how long can they hold them out? It was 20 points is left for Na'Vi. If they're going to be a big comeback, it needs to be here. It needs to be now, and it needs to be huge. They can't let Na'Vi get a decent control of this oddball. The assault in towards service tunnels here, not good enough. Speed Show just whiffing at the key moments there. Mentlin trying to assault and can't get the kills. And look at this, Na'Vi have 10 to go.
They do have 10 to go. Method to Madness need a miracle to actually get themselves back in the saddle, get back on the horse in this particular round of oddball, and time is starting to run out very quickly. I do believe the nades actually landed on their mark right on the money over towards the service tunnel, so that oddball has been dropped, but Method to Madness once again almost becoming the victim of a full team wipe, gives Na'Vi enough space to hit 100, and there it is. They take the first round of oddball. They only need one more to go before they get that map advantage back on their side.
Yep, 2 doors. They are very close approaching in towards that series point. And while the oddball spawns, both teams assault in. Already those gunfires coming live, and already the first kills coming through. But it's actually going to be a trade 2-2 for these teams, and a team wipe comes through for, I think that was for Na'Vi. Jimbo's still alive though, in towards Whirlpool.
Okay, Respectful, bit of a sticky scenario, and he'll finally be felled as well. These two squads, in terms of slaying capacity, could frankly not be more neck and neck after the full team wipe that came on through at the very early stages of that first round. Keep in mind, it was Na'Vi that basically wiped out MTM in the span of about like 15 seconds. How was that not a back smack? Either way, Mentlin will still secure the kill regardless and narrowly let Foxy get away, but he will finally get that couple of frags under his belt right there. Still, though, no contention on the oddball from either squad.
Yes, well, with that being said, 2-2, the points are now starting to score for Na'Vi. As well, the assault curve begins for Method to Madness, and it's starting to work out almost, even though there has been an initial trade here. 10 points only able to be scored by Na'Vi before that oddball gets felled, and MTM does gain control.
Oh, a disruptor is not a weapon we see all too often, but the dot damage onto Kimbo is a little bit too much for him to handle right there. 3 players alive on each respective side, and Na'Vi still in firm control right over here as the oddball is being rotated back to service tunnel and then beyond. Interestingly enough, nobody's actually picked up the energy sword in either one of these 2 rounds. It seems as if both teams don't care about melee weapons. Speed to show, finding a 2-piece as well. One from the grave. Unfortunately enough, Method to Madness now waiting for those respawns to come on through. Na'Vi rotating that oddball towards the edge of the map as well, prepping for a reset.
Yes, the prep for resets is key here, 2-2. The fact that they're prepping to get things up. That energy sword lies in wait. I don't think we've seen much energy sword action.
Nope, not at all.
When I think about it, which is quite weird, especially on a map like Oddball or a map like Recharge with an oddball. You think it'd be good for clearing out those CQC situations?
Yeah, at the very least, that is the thought process that the both of us share. But either way, getting the job done with BR's the classic fashion is also still a way to go. Method to Madness technically are almost entirely on par with Na'Vi in the slaying department. Mentland once again leading the charge, definitely working some of that previous map's performance into this one right over here. But either way, Method to Madness are still 1 round of oddball behind. All messy stuff coming out from Tafoxy. Sir Ebby somehow walks away unscathed from that engagement as MTM are quickly converging on Tetris, looking to find that oddball.
I just can't, honestly, I'm so confused why we're so low on points. It's crazy, the action that we've been seeing coming out. A nice trade out there from both players. And, well, it seems as if Method to Madness will keep that oddball for the time being. It lies on the ground, just a little bit far out for the players to go and collect. But with those 2 players there, they've got their backs. No, not like this, too Foxy. We'll have to retreat and get that recharge.
Man, that is a missed opportunity on the side of MTM. If they were able to secure that frag onto Foxy, so much extra space to work with to safely rack up points on the oddball. At the very least, it will be transferred over towards Mentland, and he is holding his ground to the best of his abilities. Speed Show will also be shut down as Na'Vi have got 2 players left on the playing field. The respawns do come on through, and Method to Madness are very close, 3 points away from tying up the point count again.
Yes, they are pretty close there. 2-2, both teams neck and neck for the time being, but the oddball is now in no man's land. Both teams contesting it. Plasma grenades and frag grenades, all shots flying out here. And look at this, look at Blizz in a potential great position to upset here. The active camo available to be picked up as well as Blizz is, well, breathing down the neck of that. And a nearly full team wipe coming through for Na'Vi.
Yeah, it seems as if Method to Madness have finally starting to show their true colors. They've regained their groove the same way that Stella did back in the day, and they are able to establish a lead over here. They need to keep this performance up if they are willing to tie up the scoreline and force it all the way to the 3rd round of oddball, and that could certainly happen. It is within the realm of possibility right over here. Na'Vi seem to be struggling a little bit more often than not.
Well, it seems as if this is not good stuff from Na'Vi, not good stuff indeed. But as I say though, Kimbo, he'll jump up with an absolute double kill there, and that in the oddball though is going to be reset. That is so unfortunate, and again, that energy sword still not being picked up there, 2-2. Oh, finally Kimbo does shut down Sir Ebby though.
Man, Kimbo's gonna have to, like, seriously let a sigh of relief off his chest because he almost got repulsored off the map as well. Luckily enough for him, his back was against the crate as well. So, unfortunate for Sir Ebby that he didn't get the pancake frag either way. The oddball now in possession with Na'Vi right over here as they are able to hit 40 points. Neither one of the 2 squads yet to actually surpass the halfway mark, but as I say that, Na'Vi edging themselves ever so closely to 50 as they will be able to secure it right over here. They are on the right, well, basically on the right road to getting the 2nd round of oddball and this 3rd map.
Well, this is it, two doors. They're extremely close to doing it as the points start to rack up now. 65, 35 to go. And while they are getting ever so close, I believe, look at this. The flank comes through, the oddball gets dropped, and Na'Vi, they're letting MTM back into it. This could easily be evened up here, but no, not to be. The oddball being retreated further down and towards that service entrance. And oh my god, is this going to be another kill? Yes, it is. Mentland picked up.
Oh, shutting down the top frag on the side of MTM is really what you want to see if you're in the shoes of Na'Vi right over here, and the rest of the squad yet to actually follow suit on the side of MTM. Blizz unsuspectingly walks narrowly into his own demise as he tries to get control of that oddball. His teammate Speed Show is right there on the scene as well. MTM, they at the very least halt Na'Vi's progression just for a little bit longer, but they really, and they very much desperately need to start racking up those points themselves right now.
Yes, they really do. Two doors are leaving gaps and opportunities for their opponents, and well, can they make it work? It doesn't seem to be the case. As well, the points continue to rack up, and MTM, they're about to even out the score between these two teams.
Alrighty, so about 27 more points to go on the side of Method to Madness now. Well, exactly 25. Na'Vi, where are you guys? Map control is not on their side as, oof. That's Jimbo being shut down, unfortunately enough for Sir Ebby. Well, the shock rifle was initially lost over here, and the oddball progression has actually been paused, and Na'Vi, they will actually pick it up so they can tie up the round count just again, narrowly, but either way, the alarm bells are ringing on the side of Method to Madness. If Na'Vi continue to get points with that oddball, then they take this map.
Well, they could potentially take this map. Well, there's only 20 points to go, and that's for both teams in this scenario here, two doors. But the oddball lies with Na'Vi. Seems to be just picking up points here and there, not being able to get a full stint actually on this oddball as they continuously have to, well, batter off the opponents that are coming at them. It's like rabid dogs trying to get their dinner, and just like that, the victory comes through. Na'Vi will pick up that win.
Indeed they do. 2 rounds, not exactly the most 2 flawless rounds of oddball that we have seen, but either way, a dub's a dub, and I seriously got a feel for Method to Madness right over there. I mean, at the very least, like, you know, specifically players such as Medlin and Sir Ebby, those two guys in particular, they hit 20 plus kills throughout the course of that oddball matchup as well, and it is just so sad to see that unfortunately they had Blizz not really live up to the performance that we would have expected from him. He was struggling to actually hit double digits in the sling department. I think he totaled up to like 5 or 6. It is safe to say that, you know, on the side of Method to Madness, there is the talent, but everybody on the roster needs to be playing cohesively. They all need to be carrying their own weight, and we just didn't see that on Recharge.
Yeah, that's just really unfortunate. Now, to those, we do have Strongholds up next. And if I remember correctly, that is on Free Fire, which will be an interesting one to watch. Because Strongholds is a bit different compared to other maps on Free Fire.
Yeah, on Live Fire, it definitely plays out a little bit. Yeah, I know. Garena Free Fire is a video game, and it can also mix us up just a little bit.
Honestly, I think that's genuinely where it comes from, is because of the Free Fire game, and I just like keep getting mixed up. It's honestly doing my head in.
Yeah, I can imagine that it definitely does. But either way, Strongholds on Live Fire, it does play out vastly different to the other Strongholds counterparts that we have seen. At the very least earlier today on Streets, and obviously in other casts as well on Recharge as well. Funnily enough, I don't think the two of us have actually casted like Strongholds on Recharge at all, I think
we did that in the NAC finals.
Maybe we did. Maybe we did. Either way, I'm blanking on it, but seeing Strongholds on Live Fire, it really does shake things up in a very interesting manner for the two of us. Obviously, it's much more different compared to how you usually play Oddball on it, and as we also touched on just a little bit earlier as well, given how the points are laid out with, I believe it is technically A and B being so close to each other, and C underneath the sniper's nest being so far apart, if you effectively get control of just one half of the map, you also get control of a maximum of 2 points as well. And if you can maintain that for as long as possible, you're golden.
Well, we'll need to see if they can do that to those. Na'Vi, though, when we saw them play Strongholds in that last best of 5, they looked so strong. They looked well oiled, as machine drilled for Strongholds. And I think this is where I start to see Navi's true strengths come through.
Exactly. And on top of that, they're already 2 maps up. They are on series point over here. If they are able to take this next map of Strongholds on live fire, then it is done. It is dusted for Method to Madness, and it is a little bit of a shame. It's the first time that the two of us have been able to see MTM with our own 2 eyes, and I don't necessarily want to say that they've stolen my hearts, but they have certainly put up a wild performance. Mentland specifically out-fragging the majority of players on the side of Na'Vi as well. He has been one of the key MVPs that is keeping this series alive for Method to Madness.
I mean, there has been a few players pop up here and there, though, 2 doors on the side of Method to Madness. We did see, I think it was, who was it? It was Speed, I think he popped up in the first map. If I'm not mistaken, Speed Show popped up on Bazaar. But with that being said, we are going to get straight into it. The typical grenade fire coming through and through mid, trying to contest that S7 sniper. But it seems as if no one can pick it up. Just as I say that, though, a nice sneaky play coming through there from Respectful to pick up that S7.
Yeah, and he can definitely rotate that off back to safety as the initial caps, start to come on through, and suddenly it is essentially a playing field that is nothing but red. Na'Vi holding on to 2 points for the time being, MTM only on to 1. At the very least, Sir Ebby will get control of that OS for the first time. The first power up picked up on their side, and Method to Madness quickly creeping back to A to defend their territory.
Okay, here 2 doors. It seems as if there's plenty to be happening here, plenty to be going on. Grenades, Metland trying to capture C will do so. And with that being said, the first points start to be scored by Method to Madness. Seems as if this is now starting to get to a worrisome position for Na'Vi, as Kimball's the only one, and they're going to have to try and hold down this B position. But already they're going to be contested, and already they're going to lose out in that.
Yeah, B is going to be converted on the side of MTM, though, so they still maintain the point advantage for the time being, at the very least with capped positions, but that's quickly going to be converted narrowly as I say that. The C will be confirmed by Na'Vi, as well as the heat wave of Metland does come alive for 1 frag over towards the window. Very good stuff coming out from MTM to keep Na'Vi in check, but basically both team has actually yet to sit in a very comfortable position in terms of raw points.
Yes, this is true, but as you say that, Na'Vi start to score some key points here. Seems as if they're actually being able to do some good action, and I believe that is the armor upgrade, or the armor ability, coming online once again here, and it seems as if Mentland is just going to go on a rampage to pick up B, but we need to watch to where that armor ability is coming up in the next 10 seconds.
Yeah, that's the overshield that Sir Ebby was able to pick up just a little bit earlier in the series as well, and Method to Madness really needed on their side if they want to utilize it properly. To Fox, he takes a little bit of damage as Metland is looking for his next 2 victims, but he's got to quickly skirt off back to safety. Jimbo catches him mid-rotate as well, as B has been cleared out of pests entirely. Na'Vi can secure a cap onto it before MTM secured A.
Yes, this is true, and already those BRs rattle off, trying to get the players in the distance. It seems as if there's a cap going on towards C while all this action is happening right now, and it seems as if, look at this play! Nice double kill from Blizz to open up A for the side of Method to Madness. That's 2 points capped, maybe even 3 here, and yes, there it is, it comes through.
Man, I feel really bad about the fact that we haven't been talking about Blizz all too much, but now we've got to sing his praises. He really made some magic happen over towards that A side, and at the very least, MTM are starting to establish a lead quite firmly in this instance right here. An attempted C cap, a little bit short-lived though, as the players over towards the commando spawn, and that bridge will be shut down, and Na'Vi can closely sort of creep their way on through. Jimbo with the S7, he finds the head of 2 separate players right there, shutting down MTM, and that creates so much space for a B cap. Dare I say a triple cap as well coming out from Na'Vi. This S7 working wonders.
Yes, it really is 2 doors, but Na'Vi are starting to work wonders with these points, catching up with their opponents of MTM and starting to really put those points on the board. Remember, it's 250 if you want to finish out this map, and well, with the time that things are going, Na'Vi are the only ones to actually put that foot forward and pick up those kills. But as I say that, though, it doesn't seem to be working out just now.
Nah, the S7 sniper no longer active, no longer a threat that MTM have to worry about, but obviously, I do believe that was Jimbo. If not, it was actually Foxy that was very close to picking it up as well. Kimbo at the very, very top of the sniper's nest, and he will, at the very least, shut down Speed Show, and a full team wipe comes on through from Method to Madness. That is a B conversion also coming on through for Na'Vi, as they are firmly in the lead yet again. Speed Show getting harassed by that repulsor, as Method to Madness are suddenly falling victim to very unfortunate spawns over towards OS. They are being rattled left, right, and center.
They really are. 2 doors and a triple cap coming through for Na'Vi. It is going to get stopped for the time being after that A cap here. And look at that. Simple as Metlin gets shut down. And again, we go back towards Na'Vi scoring more points. They start to descend on towards B. But can Na'Vi find those kills?
That is the question for the time being. On the side of MTM, Mentlin, once again, the only player to really put up a solid impact, as he is once again out-fragging everyone else within the server, 12 to his name, as an A conversion is narrowly going to come on through. No contention to be found. MTM, they hold on to 2 points, but not for long. That green building seemed to have been an afterthought, and B is going to be capped out by Na'Vi yet again, as they are working their way in through the open fields, aiming for that triple cap.
Well, that is what they're aiming for, but can they find it? It seems as if they've managed to gain a lead of 100 here, 2 doors, which is absolutely huge for Na'Vi. They're starting to really establish themselves in this match, and it seems as if MTM have just fallen to the weak side after another triple cap for Na'Vi.
This is starting to get really dicey for Method to Madness. If they don't put a stop to this, then Na'Vi effectively need about 80 points to secure their victory and book their ticket into the Halo Chamber Grand Final. Kimbo, the lovely 2-piece, will finally be punished for his past crimes right there over towards the C side. And Method to Madness, they now at the very least have a leg to stand on. They've been able to deny the points that Na'Vi have been racking up, but how short-lived could that be? We really don't know for the time being. Method to Madness really need to step things up here.
Well, we'll need to see if they can step up. It seems as if another cap comes through. Na'Vi scoring points once again, getting ever so closely, starting to salivate almost because the opportunity is there. That C cap surely will be shut down. No, apparently not. Na'Vi not being able to get the angles. C does fall into the hands of Method to Madness, but look at the other side of the map though. 2 doors. The A is where everything's happening, and it seems as if Method to Madness have somehow found a foothold in towards A, but as I see that, things start to get shut down.
Yeah, that was a valiant effort coming out from Speed Show and Sir Ebby, but their plates were a little bit too full and they were left on 1 shot. Very easy cleanups coming out from Na'Vi as well to reestablish their lead, but is not really quite confirmed just yet. They are stuck on 193 as Method to Madness are keeping them in check, keeping those contests active for as long as possible. Then you can see that nobody is actually racking up points, but now as I say that, Method to Madness seem to be back in the driver's seat, but they still need roughly 120 points before we can even think about Method to Madness taking this all the way to the distance.
That's a scary thing though, 2 doors, because Na'Vi are always active, always making themselves a problem here, and already that problem is popping up once again. B site completely denied by Na'Vi to stop MTM's push, and now they're just going to defend these 2 points, make sure they keep getting those kills, and now they are just 35 points away.
Yeah, they are, and not a whole lot more to go. Method to Madness are being shut down left, right, and center. Blizz and Sir Ebby falling off. Unfortunately enough for Method to Madness, they are suffering at the hands of Na'Vi's triple cap for the time being. The OS won't be picked up by Speed Show. It falls into the hands of Na'Vi instead. And that's an extra piece of utility that they can use to quickly confirm their victory right over here. Contestants are still active, but Na'Vi coming in through with the triple cap. They will secure this 4th map of Strongholds on live fire. They secure their 3rd map and they book their ticket to the grand final.
And what a performance to do that, two doors. They played so well on live fire, not free fire, and they were able to actually win out strongholds. I said before going into it, Na'Vi are a strongholds team, and they proved why. Their rotates were key, their kills were key, their kind of the way that they actually dominated the S7 as well. The overshield was very well managed. Apart from the early game, I can't help but give compliments towards Na'Vi in this matchup.
They played it absolutely fantastically throughout the course of these two best of fives that we have seen from them today. Everybody chiming in when appropriate as well.
Yeah.
And I still can't help but feel just a little bit bad for the boys on Method to Madness. We did see so many amazing plays coming out from them. Mentland really doing his best to lead that roster all the way across the finish line, but unfortunately enough for him, that performance started to actually fall off towards the end of live fire, and it was Na'Vi that were in full control.
I mean, what can you do though, two doors? It's just sometimes that's the way things are. Na'Vi just had that extra special something that just got them over the line. I mean, Method to Madness kept making the right steps, but then they would have their feet pulled from underneath them, their rug pulled from underneath their feet, and Na'Vi would just take the win. That's just the sad thing about it.
Yeah, it is the unfortunate thing about it that we now have to wave goodbye to Method to Madness. They were able to put up quite the performance, but ultimately, technically, picking up 4 maps in their quarterfinals in total throughout the quarters and the semis, and then losing out in Na'Vi does mean that their run within Halo Chamber has been brought to an end. But obviously, things are still ramping up on the A stream as well. If you haven't checked it out yet, be sure to go ahead and type into your browser URL twitch.tv/Halo Chamber, because our second semifinal is still going on and it is still very close. If you guys don't want spoilers, then go ahead and cover your ears or mute the stream just for a hot second, because I'm going to go ahead and spoil the scoreline right now. Ascend is 2-0 up versus Quadrants, and it is going the full distance on Recharge Oddball as well. And it is the last round of Oddball as well. If Ascend pick this one up, then we will technically almost come full circle with our storyline of having an Ascend v Na'Vi grand final here.
Yeah, but it certainly does seem as if we will have another Clash of the Titans here, two doors. But with that being said, we said goodbye to Method to Madness, and now it's time for us to say our goodbyes. Unfortunately, we have our run of the B stream over, and we now have to throw over to the A stream where the grand final will take place.
Yeah, exactly. That does bring everything that we have to offer right here at twitch.tv/Confetti Esports to an end, but it has been a very, very exciting 2 days of coverage from the Halo Chamber tournament thus far. The first, and hopefully not the last. Hopefully there are going to be so many more Halo Chamber tournaments and broadcasts being brought live as well, because it has been nothing but an absolute pleasure to be working this event. Huge thank you, obviously, to everyone on the side of Halo Chamber, whether you're on-screen talent, an admin, league operator, a production member, whatever you are. Thank you for making this possible.
Yeah, certainly thank you to everybody for giving us the opportunity as well to host out the B stream, where we did see Na'Vi win out twice. Thank you for all our competitors, and for that we hope you all have a great night. Make sure to watch that grand final, because I guarantee you it will be a banger.
Yeah, but with that being said, we are going to be signing off for the time being. So boot up the A stream, see if Ascend are going to make it to the grand final, and see if Na'Vi can potentially take their first major win in the versus Ascend in the event that they do eventually close it off versus Quadrant. But like I said, that does bring everything off to a conclusion. So we would very much like to thank each and every single one of you guys for making your way over to the B stream, for sticking with us through thick and thin over the course of these last 2 days. We wish you nothing but a pleasant evening and a good time on the A stream, and we can't wait to have you back for future content. Until then, take care, stay safe, and we'll catch you guys soon.